Try to believe in anything greater than a miracle. It wouldn't be this difficult if we try to be a negative bull. Yeah, we could be taking control. Yeah, if we try to believe in anything greater than a miracle. It wouldn't be this difficult if we try to be a negative bull. Yeah, we could be taking control. Yeah. We could be taking control. 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 Try to believe in anything greater than a miracle. It wouldn't be this difficult if we try to be a negative bull. Yeah, we could be taking control. Yeah, if we try to believe in anything greater than a miracle. It wouldn't be this difficult if we try to be a negative bull. Yeah, we could be taking control. We could be taking control. We could be taking control.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. All right, so we are getting ready to get started with our second week of the Mettlestate Pro Series. Yeah, having a little bit of a struggle there, but eventually got it out. How you doing today, Petri?
Yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm good. We're just chilling. It's way too hot, honestly. Like, my brain is just a big boiled pot of nothing stage. You know, there's nothing in there to begin with, but now there's a whole lot less, and it's all hot and bothered. So that's a bit annoying. But hopefully,
Yeah.
we're gonna cool things off with some cool gameplay coming out here. Pro Series gonna be spicy, of course. We started things out last week, very interesting as per usual.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, when you have big names like this in the lobby, you expect some spicy things. So hopefully, we'll be seeing some spicy things coming out. Of course, it all boils down to the flight path and the zone. But I mean, these teams are sure to bring it at least.
Well, I'm pretty sure we'll be finding out how the teams are going to be doing it, and you know how they're going to be performing today. Because, well, yeah, as we mentioned, it's the second week, and we've seen some pretty insane plays coming in from the teams just in that first week. Now, of course, you know, looking forward to seeing what will be happening here. We've got 4 games lined up. The first one, of course, being on that Erangel map, and after that, we head on over towards 2 Miramar maps, and then after that, once again, back to Erangel to finish things off for the day. So without much further ado, let's head on straight into the game and see which teams we got in the lobby here for today. Right, so as you can see there, of course, we got the players from Mars over in slot 2. We got the team from NiBBLE in 3. We got Odyssey sitting in slot 4. We got the players from the Outsiders in 5. We got the eXiles in slot 6. We have the team there from 4KT in slot 7. We got Gun in 8. We got GODSENT in 9. We have the players from Spaza 6 in slot 10. In 11, we've got the Dark Dragons. We got Vibe in 13. Ekasi in 14. Well, yeah, Ekasi in 14. We've got the players from EFX, of course, in slot 15. And then we have the team from Revolution over in slot 16. And having a quick look at that map, a pretty, well, I'd say it's a decent flight path, going over quite a few of those busy areas on the map. Of course, a very northerly flight path that we've got going on. So yeah, we'll see where these teams go. It is a little bit limiting in a sense as to where the teams can reach, and well, we'll see, you know, how they work around that issue.
Yeah, I'd say this is probably one of the more comfortable flight paths that we've seen, simply because Just based off of the fact that generally teams don't like to drop in towards that military island. They usually prioritize the mainland, which is, of course, pretty standard to do, nothing crazy. But the fact of the matter is, when the flight path, goes down towards the south, usually it's not as easy to utilize the positions that it allows you. With this being a little bit more north, you can still access some of the northern positions if you'd like to, but you still have access to pretty much the entirety of the rest of the mainland. So this is going to allow the players to drop basically wherever they're feeling comfortable. They're going to get all their spots. I think most of the players are droppable. I mean, I don't think there's anything that's excluded. Maybe Primorsk a little bit far away, but I mean, other than that, these teams should be able to drop into wherever they're feeling comfortable. And that makes me hope that the teams feeling comfortable in their drops will be able to bring us a good performance, because coming off of a good drop where you're feeling comfortable, where you can get your items and all that stuff, hopefully they can get aggressive as well. They don't have to, they're not forced to play passively because they don't have all the loot that they need, etc., etc. They've got what they want. They've got some comfortable drops. So hopefully that translates into fights.
Yeah. No, we'll definitely find out soon enough, how the teams are going to go about it. And we already saw that first knock coming in. One of the players from I can't remember the team, but it was definitely GODSENT that got the knock going. It might have been one of the players from 4KT that got knocked out in the process. So nice early start to the match there, getting those knocks going. And you can see the players here from GODSENT also not too far off in the distance, actually pretty close up. So we're just waiting to see what is going to happen. Are they going to try and push into those teams there? Ooh, we seem to have a little bit of a challenge happening here at the moment as the teams are just darting back and forth. So we got 4KT Thug, of course, just on the edge here. So let's see, will he be able to get any of those hits going? He's right there next to it. GODSENT pretty close to him as well. So, well, yeah, it might turn out to be quite interesting to see, how this early game engagements might be unfolding here.
Yeah, it certainly will, especially considering we have Gun, 4KT, and GODSENT all in a similar region, which does mean that there's some potential for some fighting, as we move forward through the match. But I mean, the same could be said about a couple of other places as well. I mean, up in Rostock, we've got the Outsiders, Mars, and Vibe. And then just up in Yasnaya, we've got Odyssey, who is close to kind of both parties at this stage. The one down in Rostock and the one down in Shelter, where we've got that other cluster. So we've got some pretty good possibilities that are, in front of us. But the question is, where's the next zone going to drop? And are the teams going to be feeling those fights? Because if they're not feeling it, we're not going to see any fights, which kind of sucks. Yeah. So hopefully, these teams will be feeling those fights. Yeah, we'll definitely see, where the teams choose to move up into. And at the moment, a lot of movement happening on the map. Everyone just getting, settled in, making sure that they are comfy and, in a good position to be fighting from. As you can see, the players there from 4KT now, of course, they just moved up over towards that bridge. And, well, having a look at the rest of the map, you can see the teams are all still pretty stationary. No crazy rotations just yet, aside from the team, they're all the way over towards the bridge. And GODSENT right behind them, so we might see the team from GODSENT actually moving up. And, maybe pushing it a little bit there, just trying to get, some more of those heads in. Let's have a look and see exactly how this is going to unfold right now. Some red zone spicy action coming into play just to keep the teams on their toes for the moment. The rest of the teams, of course, just making sure they're all looted up and ready to go. Doesn't seem like there's any sort of pressure being applied, and I mean, that's sort of expected considering we had a very easy flight path for the teams. They're not really forced into anything crazy like we have seen in the past, where some of the flight paths and zones do force a couple of rotations to come through and some big pressure in the beginning of the game. This time, not the case, which means that we're most likely going to see this play out relatively passively until the next zone starts to come in, and then those rotations start to become more and more of an issue to be focused on. Yeah. Well, as you can see at the moment, we have, no urgent need yet for those rotations. So let's see, at what point, maybe we'll still see when that kind of becomes the issue like you were talking about just now. But for the current moment, there's nothing crazy really happening on the map, and, the teams still being fairly spread out.
As you can see, of course, there on the right-hand side, we've got the players from 4KT on 4KT on the left. There we go. We got Mars on the right. They are slowly but surely moving in over towards the outsiders there. So maybe we might see, you know, the players here from Mars actually starting to take those hits. But yeah, it could actually turn out to be quite interesting because the players there from the outsiders just up ahead, I don't think they've spotted them just yet.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they have. So maybe Mars have a little bit of an upper hand, although for how long it lasts, you know, we will never know. They'll have to pull the trigger relatively soon. There is one straggler from the outsiders who is slightly behind the rest. If they can pick out one or two, maybe they have a chance here. Because, of course, Mars is only 2 players strong. But there we go. There's the jump. They're putting in the hits, but they just get hit immediately in return. As soon as that player is spotted out, there's just absolutely no mercy shown whatsoever. He's just going to get taken out straight away. And, well, that's what happens. If you're going to get the drop on a team, you've got to make sure you land those shots as soon as possible. Otherwise, vengeance is swift.
Yeah, and you can see the players from the outsiders, you know, we've got them just off in distance. You can see them on that mini-map. So they've started to move in slowly but surely. And, of course, now Mr. Lixon here is the only player for the Mars team. You can see the outsiders slowly but surely starting to move in. Lixon, of course, just patiently waiting, trying to see what's going to happen. Well, we got another engagement, of course, now happening on the map. Vibe and Odyssey actually starting to battle it out. But for the time being, it seems like Mars is actually pretty safe where he is right now. No major threats just yet. You can see the outsiders, of course, being quite some distance away from his position there.
Yeah, Lixon, he's holed up relatively well. If they do push him, that might be a problem, but if he can stay just ahead of them, it might just be enough, depending on how much that they really want to commit to taking him. And I think that it's actually worth it. I think if the outsiders commit to this one and take him out, I think it's actually worth it because it's only 2 players. Sure, it's only 2 kills, also means 1 entire team. So that's a whole slot that you're bumping yourself up. I think that's definitely worth it. 4v2, easy peasy. They've already taken down 1. There's only 1 left to go. I think it's definitely worth it to chase this down, especially if they're aware of his general position. And since he hasn't moved, I think it's definitely a reasonable, you know, expectation to think that outsiders would just pursue this all the way, get that final kill, add that +1 to their score count, and then, of course, bump themselves up a quick slot. So if they can find him, it'll definitely be quite useful.
Yeah, we also have the players there from Odyssey just popping in a quick few shots over towards the team there from EFX. So now we're keeping an eye on both teams, seeing what the outsiders are going to be doing. Are they going to try? Well, so far they are trying definitely, but let's see whether or not they're going to be able to find Mr. Lixon there. And then, of course, on the other side, you can see the team there from Odyssey slowly but surely just looking at the players there from EFX that we just had on the side of the bridge there. Odyssey making a nice back and forth. And, well, it seems like Mr. Lixon might so far be able to, you know, actually escape the push that we were seeing there from the outsiders.
Well, if that is the case, then he might just be able to survive a whole lot longer than we expected him to, which, if that does happen, then there's a couple of questions surrounding that, because we've seen some Lone Wolf players do pretty well in the past, but it's a bit of a hit or miss, because if you get caught out, it's pretty much over. There's no assistance, you have no help, no support. Make one mistake and you're pretty much out. So he has to be careful. If he does manage to survive this one, if the outsiders do pull away and decide to rotate off or just leave him alone, then yeah, he's gonna have to play very carefully, because we still have 14 teams and 52 players left alive. So he has to seriously weather the storm if he wants to make any headway in terms of positions and kills.
Yeah. And once again, now the players are starting to move up. We've got the team here from Ekasi rushing straight in to the compound where we find the eXiles. Sunny just making a quick dash. They're heading right past them. But it seems like the eXiles are still continuing the onslaught as they continue putting their heads in. So the team here from well, Ekasi just circling around. They haven't really decided to pull up to a specific position just yet. But we'll keep a watchful eye on them in case they do. And there's, of course, a lot of teams actually now moving into the central part of the map. As you can see, that zone having shifted up as well. And, well, the teams now starting to make their way in. And everyone getting very, very close together there. We're going to see those shots coming in between the teams. And, well, of course, hopefully we'll see some of the players getting sent on into that lobby.
Yeah, hopefully that is exactly what we see. That is certainly what we're waiting for, because with such an easy flight path and a very gentle rotation of the zone, I must say I'm a little bit keen for those fights. I want to see them happen. I want to see them happen real quick, and thankfully these teams are slowly congregating in towards the middle of the zone. So hopefully we do see those fights start to break out soon. And of course on your screen here you can see GODSENT taking a couple of shots back and forth. Fleco taking a little bit of damage. There is the exchanges fire with the team across from them, which I believe is Ekasi sitting across there. But there's a number of teams in the surrounding area that could definitely put some third-party shots in or just really make things difficult. And you can see that is indeed the case. Gun putting a couple of hits in across to GODSENT as well. So they've got to be careful. They're getting surrounded here. A lot of teams congregating in towards this general vicinity.
Yeah, no, it's getting quite action-backed, and several teams making those rotations on into the area. So, yeah, I'm just waiting to see, you know, where these fights are going to go, because you can see on the map there, it's a very, very tough rotation. We got teams moving up, and no matter where they go, there's people waiting just to put those hits in. You can see Odyssey, of course, popping off a quick few shots over towards the team there from Spaza Six. And now Gun, as we saw a moment ago, they of course moved up and just popped a quick few shots over into the players there from GODSENT. So yeah, the teams have definitely decided to, you know, to bring the heat in for today, making it super challenging. And well, so far it's nothing has really happened just yet. Just waiting to see what's going to happen when the zone, of course, you know, finishes that that rotation, comes in, and then we'll see where the teams are going to be forced into.
Yeah, we certainly will see. Hopefully they're going to get forced right up in close to one another so we could see even more fights happening. But for the time being, we're just going to see those teams slowly congregating towards the middle. And this is actually something that I like to see, that has been a trend in recent times over the last few weeks or so. Teams getting in towards that middle of the zone, really positioning themselves in a good spot. But also, the fact of the matter is, if everyone's doing that, they're going to be super close, which means the fights are destined to be. And that's what I love to see, because that forces smart thinking from all of these teams. Yeah, they have to make sure their positioning is good. They make sure they take their fights well. And, well, who doesn't like fights? I certainly like fights, and that's what we're getting right in the center of the zone. We have Odyssey, eXile's Vibe, Outsiders. We've even got Ekasi and Spaza Six, I think that is. Potentially.
Yeah, there's quite a few teams just backed into the central part, and you can see we've got Vibe on the one side, we've got the eXiles on the other side, and both teams, of course, now taking engagements with teams in the surrounding area. So it's proving to be a really tough start to the game here today. So just keeping a watchful eye, trying to see what is going to happen so we can jump on in to the right places. Let's try this one. There we go. So Vibe and the Outsiders going head to head. Well, eXile's just off in the distance, and now, of course, we've got the team there from Ekasi pushing up right behind them. So, you know, they're definitely challenging each other, making it super difficult. And yeah, it is proving to be quite a match so far. Oh,
yeah, it certainly is.
Those hits.
And there it is. You can see those shots just straight on in. It's exactly what we like to see, battling right here on top of this little hillock. Is a couple of teams now encroaching on the position of the Outsiders here, and will they be able to survive is the question. We've got Vibe down to the one side, and what looks like Ekasi just up over the hill, so they're in a bit of a difficult spot. You can see those smokes have been popped as they start to play around here. They're going to have to be very careful. Jesse taking a lot of hits, and things are becoming difficult here. If they don't be careful, they might just get wiped straight out.
Yeah, no, there's a definite potential for that. So let's see, you know, Bob being the last remaining player. Ekasi now moving in, the shots flying up, down goes Sunny. Hunter pops the head in, and just like Bob, just like that, Bob gets sent off. But we got the team from Ekasi still holding up in the area there, and the shots, of course, now flying in from the Vibrant side. So it is not over just yet. They are not out of the woods. Still a lot of threats in the surrounding area, and everyone, of course, now just trying to get those hits going. As you can see, Hunter on the one side, we got Sleepy on the other. The shots, of course, now just flying up there from Sleepy's side, and Ekasi really trying to get themselves into, well, a slightly better position. There's not a lot of cover up on that hilltop. As you can see that being quite evident when the team from Vibe is just popping those heads straight over towards them.
Yeah, that is the sort of drawback when it comes to this particular setup. Usually the hill is actually good in this scenario because you have a little bit of overwatch. You can see what's going on around you and you can really get that angle in, which is a bit of an advantage. But the fact is Vibe is sitting up in a compound. So they've got a building to protect him, which is actually a really good way to sort of cancel out that advantage of being on top of the hill. So it is a bit of a difficult battle here. Now Vibe don't have the same numbers as Ekasi, but Ekasi has yet to find those angles in. Now, they've done a little bit of damage. You can see Yake's very low on HP, but they still have no way in to actually take Vibe out completely. So until they find one of those hits, and there it is. That's exactly the hit that I was about to start talking about. That's the hit they needed, because now they should know that they have free reign to just run straight into that compound and start taking the fight.
Yeah. No, and they are definitely doing exactly that. Hunter now just rushing straight on in. You can see the two teams now going at it, and they get that Gren right in the window. Oh, just like that, ending it for the team there. Right, so just like that, we see the team from... I forgot, I blanked out there for a moment. Ah! That was the Outsiders. Yeah, sorry. That was... No? Yeah, yeah, it was the Outsiders. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, sorry.
We got there eventually.
Yeah, we're changing it up a little bit, as you guys probably have noticed. So yeah, my attention is quite divided today. I'm trying to keep track of everything that's going on. And well, as you can see on the map there, we have a lot of teams now spread out across that zone. So that's actually not a bad zone to have. You know, that's a beautiful spread. And, you know, we've got teams sitting in the central part. We've got teams on the outlying areas there. And, you know, it's good to see that they're actually starting to mix things up. A few hits now coming in there from Baker's side. So the shots are definitely happening all over the place. You can see them now popping those shots straight over towards Spaza Six, just off in the distance. And, of course, right over towards their southwestern position, we got the eXile sitting there. You can see them just there on the mini-map. So a few hits flying back and forth. We've got the eXiles also now trying to engage a little bit there with the team that we've got just across the water from them. That, of course, being EFX. So slowly but surely, the teams are getting closer and closer. And we're going to see those engagements taking place, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, that is the game. The engagements will 100% happen. And now, with the zone rotating all the way towards the east, it is going to force a whole lot of teams to actually move on up. That includes EFX, Mars, NiBBLE, Dragons, even 4KT. They're all going to have to move on in. So that means, as you can see right on your map there, they're going to have to move up into this zone once again. And, well, 41 players, 12 teams are going to have to put themselves inside this zone. That's going to be more fights. But when it comes to that, I'm actually quite interested to see how this actually plays out, because we've got some teams of interest that I'm very keen to see perform here on the stage. One of those teams being the eXiles, the other one being GODSENT. I'm interested to see how they make it in this match here.
Yeah. And also, I mean, we're seeing a pretty good performance coming in from the Ekasi team here. You know, don't forget about that. We've seen them in other tournaments also. You know, starting to step it up and really, you know, coming from out of the ashes. You know, let's say they've risen from the ashes and actually started to step up and, you know, start playing that game that we know they can play. So it's absolutely fantastic to see, you know, that performance, of course, coming back in again. As you can see, those teams now all starting to make their way up. The Dragons caught up in that northern side of the zone, so that might prove to be quite challenging for them. And several teams also being very, very close together. You can see Odyssey closing in on the eXiles. The Dragons Blade popping off a quick head right over towards EFX off in the distance there. So they are definitely stepping it up. It is lighting up, and you can see Jasmine, of course, right over here taking a few hits. There we go. Sunny getting knocked out in the process. So the eXiles just popping their heads in. So there's no shortage of action here today. The team's definitely battling it out. We got that zone, of course, now moving in once again. Ooh, we got a few players on the outside there, on the outlying regions, and that's definitely going to be quite challenging, seeing where everyone's going to fit into, because this zone is getting smaller and smaller, and we got 12 teams remaining, 41 players still in the game. Man, yeah, it's going to be super tough for these teams to make those rotations.
Yeah, it certainly will. We've got an 800-meter across zone. We've got the Exiles up there with Odyssey. The Dragons are moving in. Lixen from Mars is moving in as well. And they're going to be pairing right next to the players from EFX, as you can see. Right next to them, taking quite a bit of damage, actually. You can see those shots just going straight on through. So things are heating up already. And now with that zone shifting down and towards the south, things are going to get even more heated. You can see everyone just trying to make a dash. The shots coming through. Mercury not going to survive at all. That is just very unfortunate. EFX not going to be happy with that one. So getting sent right back to the lobby. But the shots have not been finished just yet. The fights are not over because we still have the Dragons moving down into Odyssey, who's moving up into Spaza Six, who need to move into the top of the zone, where both the Exiles, Mars, and Gun also need to go. So these things, this is about to get super crowded. This zone's only 400 meters across right now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to get super crowded. You can see so many teams packed so close together. We've got the Exiles, of course, holding up in the compound. We've got the team from Ekasi holding up as well, also in another compound. But that zone is closing in slowly but surely. These teams need to get, the move on. You're Not Gaming now getting pushed here by Ekasi as they're starting to move on in. Jasmine, of course, now busy leading that push. And several other teams now still off. We actually have only one team in zone, and that is GODSENT.
Yeah. You are absolutely right about that, which could prove to be a bit of a problem because once GODSENT is set up in that lobby, it's going to be difficult to push past them. So these teams have to be careful. You can see the Dragons trying to move in. I think they're going to have their work cut out for them if they move into this one. In the meantime, of course, Exiles and the Not Gaming squad moving up into this as well. Ekasi trying to move in as well. They're putting the hits in, but they are receiving fire right back. The Exiles putting those ones in. And of course, the Not Gaming squad sandwiched in between that fight as well. So things are getting heated up here towards the western side of the zone.
Yeah, no, definitely getting quite heated. As you can see, quite a few teams right in front of us here, and the action has not stopped just yet. The shots are now coming in. That blue zone is forcing everyone forward, and 4KT now, of course, have the team here from Ekasi rushing up right onto their position. We also see the team from GODSENT going at it with the Dragons. So we've got GODSENT on the one side. Oh, Ekasi on the other. But the players are trying to find those approaches into the zone. Let's see, will GODSENT be able to get their hits in on the Dragons? Oh, goes in on Sela. And down they go. Just like that, the Dragons have been sent back into the lobby. So well played there to GODSENT. But of course, Ekasi still trying to get on up in towards that zone. The shots now flying in from Not Gaming here. GODSENT going at it. Oh man, lots of hits all over the place. 7 teams, 22 players. And well, the shots have not stopped. It has been an ongoing barrage of shots all over the place. And several teams, of course, falling victim to those hits. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some names right here. Exiles, Gun, and GODSENT are 3 teams I think are guaranteed to basically move up into the next zone. So it's really just going to be a case of who manages to secure their spot is, well, I think that's Revolution. Are they going to be able to make it in? Is the Storm from 4KT going to be able to push in? Is the Not Gaming squad going to be able to survive that as well? Because it is quite the gauntlet of teams right now that they're going to have to run through in order to secure their spot inside this ever increasingly small zone.
Yeah. No, it's quite challenging. You can see the players there from GODSENT on the left, keeping a watchful eye on Revolution just off in the distance. Not Gaming and are also moving up into position, but now the Exiles are turning their attention over towards GODSENT as well. We've got a few throwables now coming in from all over the place. Oh, Not Gaming now just trying to make that push in towards zone. So many hits going off all over the place. The play zone claiming Not Gaming. So those hits don't even go to any of the players that were actually shooting at them. Wow. That is a super tough one.
Ooh. And guess what else is a super tough one? That zone is looking like a super tough one because Gun and the Exiles are the only ones who have priority inside the zone, which is about 100 meters across. GODSENT and the rest of the squads that are not inside that zone right now, they need to make their way on up. And in the meantime, of course, Exiles and Gun are going to be trying to fight it out to see who has control of the zone. And right now, Gun is super pressure. It looks like the Exiles are right at the end of their rope, and indeed they are. Gun are going to seal the deal in that one.
and they move up like a firing squad, you know, not leaving any angle exposed. They just move in, get those hits, get those shots, and send them all packing in to the lobby. But now, of course, we got the players here from GODSENT taking that push right up on to the team here from Revolution. So they actually caught in a very, very tough spot. They only have one player left. But of course, now going up against the whole squad here. Let's see, will Mag be able to make it? No. Down he goes. Lobby it is. So yeah, really, really tough one so far. We got Gun now coming up against the players from GODSENT. So a 1v1 team, you know. The two opposing teams going up here.
Full stack teams, right?
Yes. Oh, what?
Oh, wow. Wait, what? Wait, what? What?
How the...
Yeah, I'm gonna need a rewind on that one. I have no idea what just happened.
Wow. I mean... yeah, that, like, they were... And you know, and...
Like, it was all of a sudden, it was, you know, 4-man versus 4-man. It was two teams. They were looking good. It was like the final zone. Everything was great. And then there was a kill and suddenly...
Everyone's dead.
Everyone's dead.
Wow.
I think were GODSENT perhaps knocked? They could have. I didn't see any knocks, but they might have been.
I don't know, but that
was confusing.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, yeah. Well, there we go. That was our first map. Yeah. Oh man, but well done, well played. We got Gun coming in with that chicken dinner and 8 kills to the name. GODSENT claiming second place with 5 kills. Revolution, of course, finishing in third place with 4 kills. We got team from 4KT there in fourth place with 2. You got the eXiles finishing with 7 kills in 5th place. We got NotGaming with 1 kill in 6th. We got Ekasi with, well, that seems to be 6 kills in 7th place. The Dragons going home in 8th place. We got the players there from Spaza Six, of course, finishing off in 9th place with 2 kills. We got Mars in 10th. We got Odyssey in 11th with 4. EFX in 12th place. We got Vibe in 13th with 1. And of course, the Outsiders in 14th place with those 3 kills. So there we go. There we have it. Yeah, I mean, that was a very, very abrupt and unexpected finish to that zone. But, I mean, nonetheless, well played to the last 2 teams. They got Zen and Gun battling it out. And, yeah, I mean, that kind of just shows you the caliber of gameplay that we've got here. It can end like that, you know? It's like you're watching it and then it's done. It's just, it's over, you know? And then we left. Yeah. We left there. We're sitting like... Yeah, we don't know what to expect. I don't know what happened. You know, it's just like boom. So yeah, absolutely well done, well played. That was just fantastic. And of course, we've got the Miramar map coming up next. So Batcha, any thoughts on the match?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a great showing. I mean, we expected nothing less from these teams. Like you said, these are high caliber teams right here. They're putting the work down on the board. They're doing some really crazy stuff. It's good to see. And yeah, I guess I just want to see them clash a whole lot more. Of course, we still got plenty of games to go. And I mean, plenty of days for clashing to happen here in the season. So, I mean, I to go at it more because you know, I've had my eye on a couple of different teams throughout the previous seasons and whatnot, and a lot of them are performers over across the board. You know, regardless of which tournament they're in, they perform quite well. But having them here in the same arena very consistently is interesting to me, and I really enjoy the sort of results that it gives us. So I just want to see more.
Well, speaking of more, let's head on over to a quick break while we get the second match ready, and we will be back with you shortly. Don't go anywhere if I can stop fumbling over my own words. But yeah, we'll be right back.
you find a way to run from the city of the sun? You could have stayed, it's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice, raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice, raise your power, yeah.
I walk to you so I can be close to you. It's really simple if you look at it that way. Time that we get by with money we don't know. Pockets empty but ours are full anyway. Hey, playing like children and love like orange. You were too good for me, but I wanted you anyway. I always loved you over my head, even when you lived alone to make your parents mad.
dreaming about what food to eat. Why they sleeping, why they snooze, don't be. I was seizing opportunity. Now they don't know what to do with me. I keep going hard like I'm in puberty. Rebellions in my blood, there ain't no ruling me. Coming for the top, this is a mutiny. I want percentage, yeah. Put you in your mind like fuck your business, yeah. You never had a chance like an abortion. Broken, you don't wanna play with me, that's forfeit. Oh shit, took it to a place that never thought he could. Now the lone wolf is hounding up in Bollywood. Now I got some confidence, they call me cocky. Put your fucking tiger in the eye, I feel like Rocky. I am untouchable, I cannot fuck with you. I do not follow rules, makes me uncomfortable. I got all this passion and desire, force my path with the fire. Never passive, I acquire till I'm crashing your empire. They was sleeping, they was snooze on me. I was dreaming about what food to eat. Why they sleeping, why they snoozed on me. I was seizing opportunity. Now they don't know what to do with me. I keep going hard like I'm in puberty. Rebellions in my blood, there ain't no ruling me. Coming for the top, this is a mutiny. Don't know what to do with me.
You made a mistake, underestimating what you've taken on. I'm out of the cage, 'cause you opened the door. You're as innocent as gone. 'Cause if you're falling for me, just be one. 'Cause I don't think you're ready for it. I'm not the one to mess around. No, I don't think you're ready for it. Too many people done wrong. 'Cause I don't think you're ready for it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. All right, so we are getting into our second match of the day, that of course being on the Miramar map. So, well, pretty huge map, a lot of space, and well, yeah, we'll see how the teams go at it. And of course, you know, we see different teams stepping up to the plate. When we change over towards the Miramar map, it does require a little bit of a different play style. So we'll see how the teams go about that, and you know, which teams really start to shine on this map as well. So without much further ado, Patchy, we're gonna hop on straight into that game.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Especially considering we have heard word from a couple of these teams. They actually enjoy Miramar quite a lot. I think GODSENT is one of the teams that performs relatively well on this map quite consistently. But I mean, across the board, you know, we've heard word that this is just one of the maps that a lot of players do feel comfortable on with some of the longer range engagements that happen.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, you can see the teams name in the lobby. We have the players from Mars over in 2. We've got the players there from NiBBLE in slot 3. We've got NiBBLE in 4. We've got the Outsiders in 5. The eXiles in 6. We've got 4KT in 7. Gun in 8. We've got GODSENT in 9. The players from Spaza 6 in slot 10. The Dragons in 11 in slot 13. We've got the team there from Vibe. We, of course, have Ekasi in 14. EFX in 15. And Revolution in slot 16. And moving over to that flight path, well, quite a little bit of a cut off of the map right there. We can see it's coming in on that southeasterly side of the zone. And yeah, it cuts off quite a bit of the map. It's making it quite challenging for the teams, and well, it's going to be interesting to see where they're going to choose to move on up into. As we know, you know, the teams usually have spots that they like to frequent, and some of those places actually being a little bit out of range for this match.
Yeah, what I usually say with this map specifically, or any map that's about this large, is that I think the teams should at least have 3 or 4 spots where they're actually comfortable dropping, because on a map size like this, you frequently get paths that cut off quite a large chunk of the map. And sure, you could go on a long hike and get up and towards the places that you feel comfortable in, but if the zone doesn't go there, if it doesn't go in that direction, you're going to be putting yourself at a serious risk. So I do think that teams should be prepared with at least 2 or 3, maybe even 4 drop points that they will be comfortable with. And it doesn't have to be the most comfortable, but if they're just somewhat comfortable with that drop, you know, it's better than nothing, because when push comes to shove, you know, you need to be able to, you know, just adapt on the fly a little bit. And when you get flight paths like this that potentially cut off some of the places that you're comfortable with, you've just got to make do.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, well, let's see how they cope with that in that zone. Of course, shifting all the way over towards that far western side, and yeah, that is quite the challenging zone. As you see, we got so many players on that eastern side of the zone. A lot of them pushing up on towards those northern sections there, and only a few of them sitting in the zone. So it's going to be quite challenging for these teams to make those rotations in. And, well, at the moment, we have the team here from Ekasi, of course, now very close to the team from Mars once more. So let's see. They're going to try and put in those hits once again. And, of course, we have the players from EFX now driving into the party. Mr. Hunter, oh, welcoming them in, but gets taken down in the process. Reverb pushing in, saving his teammate Sully there from the lobby. You can see Ekasi now still on the move, making a quick dash off into the distance there. So pretty good performance right out of the gate there. The shots just flying in from all directions. The Martians now also not too far away. They could potentially move in with a few third-party shots coming. So let's see how this one then unfolds. As well, yeah, it's not often that we have so many players dropping this close together at this point in the game.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, you know, we've got a very interesting setup, because these teams have quite a distance to cover if they want to make it up in towards the zone, which is all the way down towards the southwest. Specifically teams like, for instance, Ekasi and EFX, who are the furthest away at this point. And that definitely does promise a few interesting things to happen, because obviously those rotates are going to have to come through. So we might see some long stretching rotates, sort of BBC style, or we might just see some direct rotation straight on in towards the zone, which could be interesting, because that means that we'll most likely see some shots going through. And of course, that's always interesting. But yeah, for the moment, you know, we're just waiting to see which of these teams is going to take some fights once again. Some early fights happening very briefly. But I mean, we know Miramar; it's very big, and even though the teams look close, you know, there's still a decent distance between them. So yeah, we just have to make sure that we keep an eye out to see which teams are closing that distance to try and put those hits in.
Yeah, well, we'll see, because we got two teams once again pretty close together. Not even in Miramar terms, but just in general, they are quite close together. This, of course, being the team here from Vibe and Odyssey. So we see them, you know, they like to frequent, you know, Los Leones, especially this particular side of Los Leones. So there's no surprise that we've got these players this close together and actually, you know, just looking over towards each other, not taking the engagement just yet. They haven't really gotten those clear line of sights just yet, but you know, the potential is of course there. The rest of the map that we see, the players of course still busy making their way around. Everyone's still trying to get into the hang of things, and of course well, trying to get up in towards that zone. Odyssey actually now starting to rotate up in towards the zone. We got the players here from Revolution very close there to the outsiders. So yeah, the movements are, well, the rotations rather, actually starting to take place now as the teams are making their way in. And of course, one section of that zone being in the unplayable area where they actually can't reach. So we already have a little bit of a limitation there. And the last time we saw the map coming over towards this side, it actually ended on that far western side.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a very, very interesting match for sure. And we've only seen a couple of zones that are about as cruel as that one was, and it would be very interesting to see if that happened again. Because if it did, man, oh man, we're in for quite the final zone. But for now, we're gonna see what exactly it is going to be. We still have yet to see where the zone's going to head, in which direction it's going to go. For the moment, the blue zone's still slowly making its way in. As you know, it takes quite a while for that first zone to make its way on in. But yeah, right now, teams still have a little bit of time to work with, just setting themselves up, making sure they're ready for the pushes that have to come in at some point. As you can see, a lot of teams still need to get into that zone, and there's a lot of unused area inside that zone as well. So these teams could potentially make it up into that spot, but in order to do so, like I said, they either have to go for the long rotate or push past some of these teams already inside the zone.
Yeah, and there's a, you know, I think today might be, it might be a little bit of a little while until we see the teams actually, you know, starting to clash and have those hits actually starting to fly all over the place, because you know, there's not a lot of confinement really just yet. You know, there's a lot of open space, they can freely move around, and of course, unless they intentionally rotate up into a position where we know, you know, one of the opposing teams might be, I don't think we're going to see anything happening just yet.
Yeah, well, definitely, I think that's quite a spot on assessment of the situation. We'll probably have to take a little bit for those rotations to start coming through, and potentially for that zone to get a little bit smaller before the fights do start to happen in earnest, which is of course just how this map does play out. But I'm really hoping to see teams get a little bit, you know, keen to put the shots through. You know, I was talking earlier about how the teams enjoy those long-range engagements. We'll take them. Let's take some long-range engagement. Let's see how long range we can make it happen. I'd like to see how long distance these teams will be willing to really go.
Yeah. Well, we can see, you know, we've got the teams slowly but surely starting to creep closer. We've got the players, as you can see, the ones that we're busy spectating over here, this being the team there from Spaza Six. They are very close to that central position in zone. And one thing that's quite interesting is to see that Ghana hasn't rotated straight towards Monte Nuevo, because that's usually where we see them. You know, so today they're taking a little bit of a different approach, which is always a good thing. You know, there's nothing wrong with mixing it up. But in the meantime, we've got a few teams just huddling up on this section of the map here. And I'm hoping to see that, you know, they start testing the waters ever so slightly, start moving up and actually start looking for those engagements. Because this is actually, this map is going very differently to what we were seeing on the Erangel map. And usually we've got that kind of energy, that momentum that carries over into the second match, and it's like it's a fresh start on this one. You know, like everything has been reset, and then the teams, you know, not taking those, not playing as aggressively as we saw them on the Erangel map.
Yeah. Yeah, it is slightly unfortunate that you know, we don't see the aggression coming out, but I guess it is a change that does come out from time to time when you switch over the maps, and teams got to just change styles a little bit. Do I think that aggression is warranted here? Absolutely. I think it's definitely one of those things that, regardless of the map, can always make a difference. It's one of those things that, because of its very nature, because of its active way, it is just something that changes the game entirely, regardless of how it's employed. Here, we're not seeing as much aggression, like we've been noticing. And I mean, I guess that's just a case of the teams, we only have about 14 teams in here. So if you try and get ultra aggressive, you're going to be taking long distance sprints, lots of long engagements, and it might actually become a little too much. So instead, the teams are just trying to wait it out a little bit, get in towards the next zone, and hopefully wait until the zone gets smaller and the enemy teams get a little bit closer, and where it's slightly easier to address them and still keep tabs on where everyone is.
Well, we can see the team here from Odyssey now starting to move in on 4KT, but 4KT, of course, popping off that quick first shot right over in towards Mr. Baker there. Now we're actually also seeing Storms trying to, well, he's busy flanking up right behind Odyssey. So that actually might be a very interesting move coming in from that side, because at the moment they're not expecting it. All their attention is drawn straight over towards Thugger and the rest of them. And of course that gives the perfect opportunity here for Storm to rotate in right behind them and potentially get some hits going. So but Storm can't see them, so he's actually taking shots at one of their vehicles. And I think that might not have been the best idea. As you can see, Juicy now also starting to apply the same strat there. And, well, so far it seems like Juicy actually having a little bit of an advantage. They're having that higher ground. Being able to see much, much further and better. And, well, the heads now starting to fly up between the two teams. You can see 4KT still off in the distance there. Storm actually now falling back. And it seems like, the rest of the team still in that compound. We haven't seen any crazy rotations coming out just yet. But Juicy now really trying to get that that Overwatch position into play here.
Yeah, what's interesting to me as well is the fact that we have Ekasi, Mars, and EFX were all trailing in a big long line out of the blue zone to try and make it up into the normal zone. And I mean, that's sort of pushing it. We're heading into zones 2 and then 3. And I mean, that blue zone is going to start doing quite a bit of damage. So these guys, they need to leg it quite a bit, get themselves in towards that zone as quickly as possible. Luckily for them, the zone is still large enough that the gatekeeping isn't really a big threat. Most of the teams are inside towards the middle. Generally that's where the teams have been pushing as well. So they should be able to get into the zone, but they do need to push relatively quickly. And since they're all coming from the same direction, we might even see them colliding and having a bit of a fight there.
Yeah, no, that's very, very possible. So we'll just be keeping an eye on that, seeing if that's going to happen. And of course, now you can see the players here from Spaza Six keeping a watchful eye on the eXiles just up ahead of them. We just saw that hit coming in from Odyssey over towards 4KT in the meantime. So, they did eventually take that engagement, but you can see the team there from Revolution also. They're slowly but surely starting to make their way on in towards the zone. The eXiles also getting ready to rotate up, and the team here now from Spaza Six still trying to see if they can find any clear line of sight to get those hits going. And we have a few shots actually now starting to fly across here.
Yeah. See a couple of shots being exchanged, which is at least encouraging. Now you can see those teams sort of slowly congregating in towards the center point of that zone, which is good to see. So we will start to see some shots. You can see now all these surrounding teams just slowly but surely making their way closer and closer and closer. And, well, hopefully those fights do start to happen sooner rather than later, because we still have 55 players and 14 teams left here. Only one of them can get that chicken at the end of the day.
Yep, no, 100% true. So let's see. Having a quick look at the map here, you can see we got GODSENT closing in on the Outsiders, who's also right next to the Dark Dragons. We got Odyssey sitting over towards the south of our current position. Vibe all the way over towards that eastern side of Chumacera. Gun moving in. Revolution just hanging around on the edge of zone. And then, of course, you got EFX, Ekasi, and Mars moving in from that northern side. And yet again, another hit going over towards 4KT. So they are not done yet. Those shots are still continuing to fly all over the place. And of course, now the eXiles and Spaza Six also still busy with their exchanges here. But the Outsiders now actually popping a quick hit right over towards the players there. Ooh, Ekasi getting hit by the team here from EFX as they now just starting to move on in. Did they take out the whole Ekasi? Well, no, not yet.
Not yet.
There's 2 of them left, but they're hanging back in that blue zone. So it's a pretty tough one to be in.
Yeah, that is definitely a bit of a Monka-esque situation to be in, especially since your opponents know where you are and they are holding that road. If EFX spot Ekasi moving out of this one, Ekasi might just find themselves heading straight back into that lobby as quickly as they're driving down this road right now, trying to escape the which is pushing up as per usual. They are moving up now, but Ekasi trying to veer off as quickly as possible to try and not get caught out by EFX, and so far it looks like they're going to be successful with that. But having lost those 2 players is certainly going to impact the rest of the game for them.
Yeah, no, 100% it will. And of course, you know, we're waiting to see where the zone is going to shift on into. It's closing in slowly but surely. The players all now just waiting in anticipation to see where that zone is going to go, and then we'll see the next round of rotations happening. Of course, that zone shifting over towards the western side. We've got a few teams already positioned in it. The Dragons, of course, right here on the edge of the zone. The team there from the outside is quite comfortable in the zone alongside the players from GODSENT. So no urgent rotations yet, but you can see GODSENT, of course, now moving up, trying to improve their current position. We got 4KT and NiBBLE sitting all the way down in the southern side. But the Dragons might get a few visitors right here, as Gun is actually now just starting to rotate in right past them. Ooh, no engagements because it seems like Gun also moving up. 1 player per vehicle. So nice little convoy of teams as they move on into the zone. The eXiles, of course, not too far behind. And we jump over in towards the players here from the outside. As you can see them, of course, also now moving in ever closer. We got GODSENT just sitting off in the side. And it seems like this might also be where Gun is actually rotating up to.
Yeah, which could be the start of a very interesting potential fight that's coming through. If Gun do move up in towards this position, it might be interesting to see. You can see GODSENT just hovering around, and here comes Gun, but there's also a couple of other teams moving in. The outsiders in the general vicinity as well, and they're coming in trying to put the hits, but down he goes, not feeling the heat. And this one, Six going to put the bullets in. Coco takes down Dan, and Six God actually goes down to Slim, putting those shots across. So GODSENT is now sandwiched in between these 2 teams here. If outsiders continue to push and Gun decides to make that push as well, GODSENT might be in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, and we can see quite a few hits actually coming in all over the place. So the outsiders actually getting a nice save there from the Gun team, which is quite unexpected. But I mean, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be complaining about that, because we had GODSENT pushing up towards them and Gun coming in with those third-party shots. But actually now the Gun team is starting to push on up into the same position as well. So things are definitely heating up. GODSENT being caught in a pretty tough sandwich now. Gun on the one end and the outsiders on the other. They've also just lost one of their players. So we got Flacco, Shady, and Nos. Oh, there we go. Let's see how they're going to play this one. Flacco getting taken down. Nerf not letting them escape just yet. Nos and Shady now making a quick dash in to Chumacera to just try and evade the shots that are flying up towards them. And of course, moving over towards the drop quickly, you can see the team here from, well, Spaza Six now just pushing in on 4KT. And of course, the eXiles just off in the distance there. What? Sorry, not 4KT, I mean the Dragons. I saw Storm off in the distance there. Oh, NiBBLE getting hit by, what was that? It's not the red zone.
Or some miscellaneous something.
Yeah, some explosion of some sort resulted in a knock coming in. You can see the eXiles now actually trying to move in straight over towards the players here from Spaza 6. So let's see, will they be able to get it? And of course, we've got another team coming in off the side, that being 4KT. See those shots flying up there from the eXiles. Let's see, will the team here from Spaza 6 be able to hold off the push from the eXiles?
Yeah, they're going to have to put up quite the fight. The eXiles are pushing in, but the compound is somewhat controlled by Spaza 6 here, so they do have a little bit of an advantage. But, I mean, we've seen the eXiles do some serious attacks before, and if that's anything to go by, they could certainly do some damage. Now, in the meantime, we see some shots going in between GODSENT and Gun. That fight is certainly continuing there, and a couple of hits going back and forth. The zone's actually going to shift down towards the south as well, and here come a whole lot more kills as well. Everyone's putting them in. Gun feeling the heat, putting them in towards GODSENT, but who's going to come out the victors this time around? Both Gun And Temper putting the hits in, but it looks like GODSENT has actually been sent out. I think they lost that fight. Outsiders and Gun. The war of attrition has paid off.
Well played though. I mean, that was a pretty tough fight nonetheless, and those teams, as we've seen, you know, they can put up quite the fight. So well done to Gun for getting that amazing squad wipe. And of course, now we're still watching the players here from Spaza Six just dancing around, but you can see the hits coming in the kill feed. Several teams now actually taking engagements, and the eXile's now starting to push in, heading right over towards the players here from Spaza Six. Oh, True getting caught, goes down. Wow, there we go. Those hits now just going all over the place. And 4KT coming in with a quick sneak attack there. Third-party shots, managing to get a knock in towards the eXiles. So beautiful plays actually coming in from the teams here.
Yeah, it's really good to see the fact that once the zone got a little bit smaller and the teams had a bit less space to worry about, that the fighting starts to happen, things become a lot more consistent, and the performance that we see from these teams, that we usually expect from these teams, is starting to shine through and come out once again. So that's good to see, and I think from now on, I don't think there's going to be any lulls in any sort of action. We're going to see it from beginning to end right here. The action non-stop. Of course, now you can see EFX trying to put some shots across. The rotations come through. Gun now moving in towards the outsiders. So that's going to be a fight that's bound to happen. EFX right there as well. Vibe going to be eating themselves into oblivion with a couple of surrounding teams in that vicinity as well. So things are heating up, and they will not stop because that blue zone is making its way in as well, and well, the space is about to become a whole lot less.
Yeah, no, it's definitely heating up, and what a tough position it is right up in the north here. Gun, the outsiders, and then of course EFX just hanging off in the distance. Wow, this is going to be so tough, and well, so far Gun actually stepping it up. They've got those 3 kills to their name. We've seen those heads coming in, and there we go. They're rushing right in. Nerf popping that head off straight in towards Zero. Broly coming in with a finish. So one of the players there going down. They got a few more left just up on the hill. Oh, but Ekasi now also off in the distance. So the heads continuing to fly all over the place. Great to see all these engagements coming in from the teams all over the place.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's very good to see, and we're going to see that continue to happen because as this zone has gotten a whole lot smaller, there's actually not a single team that's sitting comfortably inside the zone. I think even the outsiders are slightly outside of the zone at the moment. So the shots are going to be going all the way around the perimeter of the zone, and anyone who pushes in towards the middle of that zone is going to be pretty much sitting ducks for all the teams that are sitting on the mountains in the surrounding area.
Yeah, and talking about teams rolling up, we got the eXiles pushing in straight towards the northern section of it, moving up in towards those compounds, but the outsiders and Gun now having a nice exchange. A Gun pushing up. Oh, down goes Sheki, and the outsiders get sent on off into the lobby. So beautiful push coming in from Gun once again. Great to see that they're stepping it up today and, you know, really delivering with the action there. Because, you know, we've been missing out on that ever so slightly, and it's good to see that, you know, they're getting back in their groove, putting those hits in. And, of course, we've got the team here from Odyssey now about to receive the players from Mars as they start moving in right on their position. Oh, Baker going down. It is now up to Juicy and Sidon. Let's see, will they be able to fend them off? But in fact, the Martians making quite the rotation, heading all the way around. And several teams now just taking engagements as much as they can as the players there, you know, try to find a proper good spot to go into.
Yeah, and it's going to be super tough for them to do so because, of course, that blue zone's moving in, and it is absolutely not... It's just unforgiving at this point. It's just nothing that they can do. They're going to be taking some serious points of damage. Now, 4KT trying to move in towards that zone, and Mars, Vibe, Revolution, everyone's trying to move on up, and, well, those shots are flying. The blue zone's doing the damage, and you can see everyone is just getting absolutely wiped out left, right, and center. The Not Gaming squad gets sent back. Vibrant and Mars now very close in proximity, and they're trying to move on up against 4KT as well, who's inside the zone. How are they going to fare is the question, and Gun now moving down. EFX trying to take the fight against them. It is just absolutely all over the place at this point in that zone. Absolutely minuscule that they're going to have to fit themselves inside. Gun putting the damage in, and it looks like they might be able to win the fight against EFX, but they still have the eXiles to worry about as well. And Odyssey now moving down towards Vibe and Mars. So we have some nice fights all over the board.
Yeah. And the team here from EFX now being brought down to 1. Mercury the last hopeful, right there next to the gun team. So let's see, will Mercury be able to last? As you can see, Nerf is now on the prowl. Ooh, this might prove to be quite the challenging position for Mercury to defend, and the hits are flying all over the place. Down he goes, but Mars also getting hit in the process. Vibe stepping up, popping those shots off. You can see 4KT, of course, just off in the distance. Odyssey down to their last player. Storm also now the last hopeful left for the team, taking a quick few pot shots at Vibe as they're now trying to improve their position, moving up closer in towards that zone. Yikes taking some of those hits. That's what happens when you put yikes and taking together in one sentence. It's yaking it. So, well, there we go. 5 teams remaining. So we got Sidon for Odyssey. We got Storm for 4KT. We got Sleepy for Vibe. And then, of course, we've got... Oh! Well...
Look at this.
Wow.
The team's getting absolutely caught out by that blue zone. They are not going to be feeling very happy about that. The eXiles and Gun falling player by player out to that blue zone. It looks like Pyro is the only one left, and he is just barely surviving by the thread of it. But he's going to be able to put some hits in at the very least and knock out Odyssey, but he's going to go down himself. And now Vibe and 4KT are the final 2 teams remaining, Sleepy and Gunner versus Storm. And none of them in the zone yet.
Yeah. And we've seen what this blue zone can do, you know. And both these teams now just risking it out in this section here. Oh, but they find him and down he goes. What a play that was, though. Vibe coming in with the chicken dinner, 9 kills to their name. Well done, well played. 4KT, of course, getting themselves that 2nd place with 4 kills. Gun managing to claim 11 kills in the process and 3rd place. Odyssey coming in with 2 kills in 4th. We got the eXiles finishing their play off with 9 kills in 5th place. And of course, the team from Mars finishing in 6th with 3 kills. EFX with 3 kills in 7th place. We got NiBBLE with 2 in 8th place. Revolution with 2 kills in 9th place. The Outsiders with 1 kill in 10th place. Ekasi in 11th. We've got the players there from Spaza Six with 4 in 12th place. GODSENT in 13th and the Dragons in 14th. So it's pretty good to see that so many of these players actually, well, so many of these teams, in fact, you know, managed to get themselves some kills out in the process. In a pretty crazy zone we had here nonetheless, though. That was quite challenging.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, you know it's challenging when teams are getting knocked out by the blue zone, you know, especially on a map like Miramar, where you have some good space to move around and you have a bit of time to work with. Teams are getting in towards those final zones and getting caught out by the blue. Man, oh man, that's definitely a testament to just how pressurized things were, and just all the teams trying to make it on in, and they were in a little bit of a difficult spot. You know, you had to try and get into the zone and worry about 3 teams surrounding you. It was very difficult. And I mean, two big teams like Gun and eXiles both getting caught out by that blue zone. Yeah, it's funny for us, but I mean, it's a bit of a difficult one for them to be able to go through. So yeah, as I expected, you know, just some nice performances coming out all across the board, and we still have 2 matches to go. I believe that's going to be Miramar and then Erangel again. So yeah, these teams still have a little bit of testing to go, and we can see what they're going to bring for us in the next couple of maps.
Yeah, well, there you have it. So we'll be back shortly with our 3rd match. So don't go anywhere. We'll get everything ready and we'll bring you back momentarily. Right, so see you in a little bit.
Before you know you're older, so sober, alone, but you get in my cold shoulder. You crying like it's rain, you causing all the pain. No closure, I'm colder, you getting nothing, Joker. You getting nothing, Joker. Interstellar night space, no one else sees. In the underground, we're living low key. Can give you peace here in your mind. And as I found no place in the dead of night to come alive. Life is waiting on the other side.
I've been up for 3 nights. My eyes are bloodshot red. Damn, I wanna see the sunshine. It's getting to my head. One look in the mirror, don't like what I find. I know that somewhere in there there's a good guy, but he runs away at midnight. I'm sorry that I stole your car. Ain't got those tattoos on my arms that don't mean shit to me. Maybe you should pull the alarm, so I don't take it way too far. Die before I'm 23. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. My siblings are perfect and I wish I were the same. Making bad decisions, it should be my middle name. I love playing with fire, it's my favorite. Watch it burn my whole house down, not feel a thing. One look in the mirror, don't like what I find. I know that somewhere in there there's a good guy, but he runs away at midnight. I'm sorry that I stole your car. Ain't got those tattoos on my arms that don't mean shit to me. Maybe you should pull the alarm, so I don't take it way too far. Die before I'm 23. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom.
Well, this is what happens when I'm out of my medicine.
There's collateral damage, I gotta go.
I'm sorry that I stole your car. Ain't got those tattoos on my arms that don't mean shit to me. Maybe you should pull the alarm, so I don't take it way too far. Die before I'm 23. I'm sorry, Mom. 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 I'm sorry,
I like you, but it's not okay. Whatever, can I walk away? Oh yeah. Can still see your face, so tell me what to do, 'cause I can't find a way. Baby, please just tell me if I'm, tell me if I'm, tell me if I'm fine. Tell me if I'm, tell me if I'm, tell me if I'm, baby, please just tell me if I'm fine.
Just tell me if I'm fine.
watching the ocean with you. Baby up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our clouds when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the
What's up, guys? Welcome back. All right, so we are getting straight into our third match, heading straight over towards Erangel once again. All right, so that first one was pretty spicy and, well, a pretty brutal zone that we had coming in that match as well. So, let's see what is going to happen in the next one. A fresh round, well, hopefully new flight path, so let's see how it goes. And, well, yeah, maybe we'll see some interesting things coming from that.
Yeah, we will certainly wait and have a look to see how that goes. And yeah, like you said, we had a bit of an interesting zone. Not as brutal as some of the ones we've seen, though, of course, but definitely gave quite a challenge to the teams. We saw a couple of them going down to the blue zone, which is not something you see every day, especially with teams playing at this level. But it is what it is. And now we move into another Miramar match where the teams are once again going to have a chance to prove themselves here. And like I said previously, you know, it is a map that the teams have said that they feel quite comfortable on. So I'm hoping that once again, once we get past the initial sort of, you know, all the teams are too far apart phase, we get to see into that action just immediately. We get to see some great stuff coming through once again. And yeah, we'll see it. Well, hopefully the teams won't go down to the blue zone. Hopefully we see them just last a little bit longer, get up into there, have some good fights, and maybe the zone will will be gentle with them this time.
Yeah, well, there we have our flight path, as you can see, of course, now coming in all the way from just southwest of Puerto, and of course heading straight over towards the oasis in the north there. So very interesting change on the flight path here, you know, cutting us through the semi-central part of the map here and opening up quite a few positions that teams can actually move on up into. So it's a nice mix-up. Great seeing that the flight path has changed, and of course I'm quite curious to see where this zone is going to land, which way it's going to take us, and of course, you know, where the teams are going to have to rotate up towards, because well, yeah, hopefully not too much of a challenging zone coming in.
Yeah, well, we're about to find out. There's, of course, that flight path slowly taking us across the map, and it's actually looking pretty decent. Nothing too crazy. Most of the drops are going to be accessible, except for the ones that are far out towards the extremities. But, I mean, usually that's not too much of a problem for the team. So, hopefully, with all that done, the teams will set themselves up nice and quick, get all comfy, make sure they're ready to go, and then straight head up into that zone, get some action going, get some shots flying. Maybe we'll even see some early action if the teams do decide to drop into similar places, which is actually something that I don't advise against in this particular scenario, because with a map this big and with only 14 teams heading into it, I think that closing up that space gap any way you can quickly on is actually very useful.
Yeah.
So I think if the teams wanted to drop relatively close to one another and really get those early fights going, it would actually be it would definitely be something that is well, yeah, it's decent to do. It's a decent move.
Yeah, well, we got a little bit of that happening right over here. Mr. Fix there from 4KT landing very close to Spaza Six, and of course we once again have the team from Odyssey and Vibe pushing up in towards those same positions that we've seen them going into so many times before. But let's see now, will we see some action coming in here from the 4KT side? Storm, of course, taking a little bit of damage right as they drove past the players here. So True and Coco actually now starting to rush on in over towards Fex. There we go, Fex popping a quick hit in towards Coco. Wow, some pretty interesting plays coming in. 4 scope on that Scar L as well. So let's see if Fex will be able to fend off the remainder of the Spaza 6 team, as they could potentially try and push up onto his position.
Yeah, we'll have a look and see right now. He's not too badly kitted out at this point, so he could put up quite the fight if he manages to pick his fights properly. But, well, if they overwhelm him in terms of numbers, it might just be a little bit too much. We'll see how he handles the situation. For the moment, he's got a decent spot here in this building, but eventually he's going to have to try and move on up and potentially regroup with the rest of his team. So if he can do that, it will definitely be quite useful, but he might just be caught out, so he has to be careful. We'll see.
Yeah, no, we definitely will. And, you know, the rest of the map looking pretty standard from what we've been seeing, you know, over the months of play on the map as well, you know, throughout the seasons. Nothing crazy just yet, aside from the potential action right here between the players there from Spaza and the, well, lone player here from 4KT. The remainder of his squad, of course, being off in the distance, but the hits, oh, there we go. True stepping it up and popping those hits in. We got Storm, of course, now moving up with a little bit of cover there. True now trying to cross over. Storm returning the favor, putting those hits in. You can see, of course, now Chris and Deity actually moving in. Chris trying to avoid those hits, just managing to get in behind that building on time. Coco now off in the distance, the hits flying in, and of course now Storm just, well, trying his luck a little bit there, getting hit in the process. But we see him now falling back over towards his teammates. We got Self, as you can see, just on the edge here. And now Thugger also just moving in, regrouping. And we'll see whether or not, you know, Mr. EFX there is going to get thirsted by the players from Spaza.
Oh, well, we're about to have a look and see. Of course, quite a bit of damage has been done. And of course, it should be a pretty easy cleanup here onto this one downed play here. It should be done and dusted for Spaza Six. The rest of the team, of course, heading off into the distance to try and get away from that engagement. Not the best spot to be in, and they've realized that they don't want to take that fight. So, of course, there goes that thirst going to be finished off, and the rest of the team has, well, they've evaded their way out for the time being. But of course, we still have quite a bit of match to go, so we'll see how they end up. There's plenty of space for them to go in on the map as it stands at the moment. A lot of teams concentrated towards the north, so we might actually see quite a lot of clumping in there once those rotates start to come through.
Yeah, and that zone going over towards the western side once again. So a pretty consistent zone, though. I mean, not a crazy shift, but of course we had that flight path, you know, to complement the zone just ever so slightly. You know, it's nice seeing that we've got a little bit of a matchup coming in between the zone and the flight path there. And of course, we don't have as many players, you know, so far away from the zone for this one. So we could potentially see a little bit of a different outcome for this one. You know, as the team's already getting those rotations sorted. The team's already in the zone, also making a bit of a movement there, moving up, improving their positions. We got the GODSENT team, of course, going straight into that San Martin that we've seen them frequent as well. The eXiles, of course, over in the Picado area. We've got the Dragons just rotating out of the power grid. And then, of course, Gun we have over at Minas Generales. So, yet again, a little bit of a mix-up there. We usually see them going over towards Monte Nuevo. But, of course, you know, they couldn't reach all the way across into that position. So, yeah, just keeping an eye on the team, seeing where they're rotating and, of course, how they're playing in the zone. And, well, no urgency just yet. Blue zone slowly but surely starting to close in. But I think once we get into either the next zone or the one following that, things might actually start heating up quite a bit.
Yeah, this is basically the same thing that we saw in the previous match, and that was literally just because the map is quite large and the amount of teams that we have on it is a lot less than, you know, that maximum amount. So the intended number isn't really capped out. So there's quite a bit of extra space in terms of just comparing the game currently to a sort of maxed out lobby, you know. So there is still quite a bit of extra space here on the map, and that's why things are a little bit slower. But I'm convinced that, like you say, once the next zone and the one after that do start to come in and the teams get a lot more close together, we will start to see those fights happening and a little bit more decisive. I mean, that's basically what we saw in the previous match. The teams, as soon as they were in proximity, they kicked into high gear. We saw the action. We saw the fights happening. We saw the activity. It was looking really, really good. And of course, these teams, as we know, you know, once you give it to them, they will take everything they can get and they'll just run away with it. Unless, of course, they get taken up by the blue zone, which happens from time to time. But usually we see them just really head on quite strongly. So yeah, we're just going to wait for that to happen is what we're waiting for. We might see a couple of shots here and there, maybe a couple of engagements as the rotations eventually start to come through, but I think once that zone does start to make its way in, things will start to heat up a whole lot more.
Yeah, the team's definitely not you know, they don't hesitate at all when a confrontation presents itself, but at the moment we don't necessarily see teams, you know, purposely going out looking for confrontations. You know, but when it comes across their path, they definitely do take them. They do engage. They do put those hits in. There's no passiveness in that sense. So which is always a great thing to see. Just hoping to see a little bit more hunter mentality coming out. You know, we are in our second week. You know, the teams are definitely trying it to get those points, to get on up in it towards the top of that leaderboard. And of course, you know, the hunter team is usually the one that kind of boosts themselves up right into that pole position. Well, not always, but most of the time. So, well, let's see how it goes. We got the players here from Ekasi, of course, now keeping a watchful eye there on Spaza Six, just off in the distance. Sunny not really taking engagement just yet. Well, the woods are still warm, and there goes Coco getting hit in the process. In Sunny doing exactly what we said he wasn't yet doing, but well, it seems like he kind of felt us watching him. So he was like, well, maybe I should start, you know? So always a good way to get it started there.
Yeah, some shots going through, which is good to see, and I'm sure we'll see a whole lot more of them coming through as the game progresses further. We'll see if Sunny can get a few more hits in here. I doubt that anything more will come of this engagement unless somebody decides to push on up, which Spaza Six could potentially do. And it looks like they are slowly moving on up and seeing if they could potentially put some shots back and do some return fire on some of the aggression that Sunny was showing. But yeah, for the moment, we're just going to wait for that blue zone to move in, and it is almost finished closing up, and we'll see where the next zone lands, which is actually going to be quite interesting because generally speaking, the zone is looking pretty decent. So no huge curveballs as of yet in the zone. We'll be moving down in towards the southeast. So a lot of teams already sitting pretty comfy inside that zone. No need to rotate.
Yeah, we're seeing the players there also from Revolution getting quite close to gun over towards that northwesterly side. And well, we've got those engagements going back and forth, and the team here from Spaza getting hit in the process as well. Nice Car 98 shot actually coming in there. We've got Sunny and Jasmine still just holding off on the sides. You can see Sunny just seeing red all over the place. So he is ready for action. We're just waiting to see how this one will unfold for the players here from Ekasi and of course Spaza Six. Slowly but surely, we see the team here moving in bit by bit. Sunny risking it, just trying to inch forward to find that angle on the players. Now, I'm hoping that, you know, he could potentially get that, depending, of course, on which way around he decides to move on in. And so far, he is really moving in, and the odds are slowly but surely turning in his favor.
Yeah, you know what I'm really waiting for? If you just zoom out on that map a little bit, you'll actually see that Hunter from Ekasi is sitting on the opposite side of the Spaza 16. Now, I'm not sure if he is AFK or not because I haven't seen him move, but if he isn't, he could come in from behind and potentially really throw a spanner in the works for this engagement, because if Ekasi can turn all of Spaza 6's attention towards them up in the north, then Hunter can come in from the south and potentially do a little bit of damage. So I'm interested to see if they pull that off. Right now, you could see, oh, he is there, but he has been hit. So they are aware of his position, and now he's in a bit of a pickle because he is down and all of his friends and teammates are up in towards the north, and they're going to have to fight really hard if they want to try and save his life.
Yeah, no, it's going to be so challenging. And of course, now Drew moving up. Oh, Sunny takes the shot, puts it in, and well, his aim stays true and gets it done. Let's see now, several more hits now starting to fly in from the players here from the Spaza 6 team. Sunny now just trying to move up, trying to find that angle. Hunter, of course, I don't think they're going to be able to get the res in. Deity and Coco, of course, also just up ahead here. They are starting to rush in towards the players. So let's see whether or not they'll be able to get a successful push. Jasmine now joining Sunny there for a little bit of backup. We've got Deity and Coco also just bobbing back and forth right on the top of the hill. You can see Deity now trying to cook that Gren, setting it off over towards Frieza. Ooh, does a little bit of damage. Will that be enough though? Yes, Deity finds the hit, puts that Scar out to good use, and of course gets a beautiful knock going in the process. Hunter now succumbing to the injuries there. Sunny taking a little bit of damage. Jasmine now also just still trying to survive. Frieza, I think we might see Frieza also just bleeding out slowly. But there we go. GODSENT and the team from the Exiles also now starting to exchange a few hits between them.
Yeah, we're just going to wait and see how this one pans out, because it's certainly coming through and a lot of teams are now engaging, and Ekasi not feeling too good about this one. Spaza Six really taking them for a ride, and Ekasi not getting the results they wanted here. And one by one falling down and out, now trying to put a whole lot of damage in Jasmine, trying to do the impossible. And is it going to happen? No, the drop shot is going to be enough to finish him off. But, well, it's not the end of the fights just yet, because like you said, the eXiles and GODSENT still back at it. And, of course, Revolution and Gun just up on the one side, putting a couple of shots towards one another. We've got a number of teams concentrated in towards the middle of the zone here, so definitely a whole lot of fights waiting to happen.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of engagements happening all over the place. You can see the team here from Revolution now. Soldado just trying to bob around, trying to avoid any potential shots that could be coming in. But of course, EFX now also starting to move in towards the same region there. So we got Revo 4U and Soldado, the two players for the Revolution team. We got Gun just on the opposite end, and EFX rushing into that position. Oh, this is going to be a beautiful play here. Let's see how these teams take these engagements. EFX, of course, not pushing up, not wasting any time. Revolution already losing two of their players, and we see those first few shots from Mercury flying straight over towards the team there from Gun. So this might be a pretty good position for EFX to be playing from.
Yeah, it certainly is. We'll see how this mountain works out for them. Of course, two teams to engage, one on either side, and we'll see if they can make it happen. Of course, you can see EFX now going to engage one of them. Here they come, putting them in towards Revolution. We'll see if they can survive for the moment. EFX now also putting the shots in towards the other team as well on the other side of the mountain. We'll see. It looks like Revolution struggling a little bit to move up the side of the mountain. Unfortunately, this isn't Skyrim, so you can't just walk straight up. And that's proving to be a little bit of an issue here, but at least a couple dropping through from either side. But Gun now also doing quite a bit of work, and you can't leave them down and out because they are quite the force to reckon with. So you're going to have to make sure you're dealing with both of these enemies right now. If EFX can take out Gun, they should be looking good, but Gun, like I said, it's not easy to take these guys out.
Yeah, no, 100%. And well, EFX pushing up in good numbers, doing a pretty impressive move there, but Nerf, I think, has gone AFK. Okay, no, never mind. He was just in the vehicle, busy healing up. Mercury now just testing the waters here, pushing up little bit by little bit, trying to see what's going to happen. Oh, the hits comes in. Mercury goes down. Bait now the next one up. Pops the shot off straight over towards Gun. Pyro. Oh, Sully is the last hopeful left. Let's see, will he be able to make it? Gun putting up a beautiful performance, but gets sent on off into the lobby. Sully, man, lands that finishing blow. So well played to EFX. Revolution also being taken down to their last player, that being Mr. 4U over here. And now they actually have quite some distance to cover to make that ground back up in towards zone. And of course, we've got the Dragons and GODSENT right here on the edge of zone, waiting for the teams to start coming in. Beautiful gatekeep if they do enforce that. And of course, now their heads coming in. The team there from the eXiles popping a shot over towards Odyssey. As you can see, the team there from Odyssey just up on the hill. Flacco moving in over towards Dan and company just on the edge here. I'm loving the movements here, though. I mean, just look at all these teams just sitting in the zone here. Everyone trying to find an angle on any of the opposing teams. Unfortunately, there's 12 teams still in the zone, so there's actually quite a few players they could, you know, turn their scopes to.
Yeah, and I mean, that is the benefit of staying in the middle of the zone before it shifts up. You know, we've been talking about that for quite some time, and a lot of people don't really realize what we mean by that. But that's exactly it. You know, if you're putting yourself in the middle of the zone, when it shifts up, you have a decent chance of either being in the next zone or being close to it. And well, all of these teams positioning themselves in the middle of the previous zone is going to mean that they're actually sitting quite happily inside the zone as it stands now, which is going to give them the opportunity to continue to turn their attention, their full attention, over towards the surrounding players, looking for those angles, looking for those fights. That's the benefit of good positioning in this game. And well, it's paying off with us getting to witness these shots being taken between these teams.
Yeah, we see it. The shot's not trying to fly across over from the team here. Spaza Six trying to pop those hits in. Chris managing to get a nice hit in there with the SKS, and of course Deity coming in with the M24. So Odyssey actually taking quite a bit of damage here. I think we got two of the players knocked out. it's proving it to be quite challenging. Well, Baker, of course, was the one that got knocked out. So we still got Sidon, Vindog, and Juicy. Baker now getting raised back up. Chris popping in yet another hit. Juicy being the next victim. So the players there from Spaza Six being quite relentless. And of course, we see the team from Vibe just off in the distance. Mars now being the target here. Team EFX popping off a quick few shots. We've got 3 teams currently in this new zone. The Dragons now taking the engagement here with EFX as well. Oh, it's going to heat up. Mercury. Oh, down he goes. The Dragons just finishing them off. Unfortunately for the Dragons, the zone is not that far away, so they don't have much ground to cover to make it in safely. But of course now there are several teams in the surrounding area and they can't really risk it too much. You can see the players here from EFX, Andrews, just lying in wait, trying to see if he can find an angle on them. And of course now the eXiles sitting right behind them up on the top here. Yep, no, this is gonna heat up very, very quickly. Ooh.
Yeah, the zone's under a kilometer across now, and these teams really have to fit themselves in. 42 teams and 12, or 42 players and 12 teams remaining at the moment, trying to get themselves in towards the zone. You can see GODSENT now putting those shots across. EFX also doing some work. eXile's doing some work. Everyone getting very, very busy up in towards the northeast. And that's where all the teams seem to be concentrated, except for a couple dotting the other positions around the zone. But they're moving in now. They've got to slot themselves inside this real estate without taking damage, and that's very, very difficult. Some of them could get wiped out, and you can see even those Grens are flying, shots are flying everywhere across the map, trying to put it in. Cheddar putting some good shots into Andrew Bay, taking up later. Nero going down as well. Andrew now getting some taste of his own medicine as Cheddar takes him down. So the fight's just going absolutely back and forth, but EFX, they're getting wiped out. They've been taken out as well. I think that was the eXiles doing that. But they're still close to the Dragons, who's close to Odyssey, who's close to GODSENT. These teams are just absolutely jam-packed against one another right now. These fights are going to be super constant.
Yeah, no, we're going to see a lot of that continuing for quite some time as, you know, we've seen these teams really, really good at battling out in the long game. Somehow they manage to acquire some insane amounts of ammunition, or they just work super sparingly with it in some way. And of course, we got Six popping a quick shot in to Coco here. Deity now trying to make the dash, smacking right into the side of the rock there. We got Odyssey, of course, just up ahead, and so many teams just going at each other's throats here. Oh, it's heating up. Here we go. That is what we like to see, and we only have, well, 2 players in the zone.
Yeah, that is quite the situation to have now. Everyone has to move up on into this zone, which is about 400 meters across at this stage. And, well, it is going to be the eXiles who have a pretty decent spot in there. And, well, now the rest of the teams who have to make their way in are going to have their work cut out for them. Mars just outside the zone, 4KT now making their way across that line. Outside is Hot on their heels, and the NiBBLE squad moving up as well. Vibe also need to make a move, but there's a couple of teams that are in a bit of a deadlock at the moment. The Dragons, Odyssey, and GODSENT are sort of stuck on this side. If they make a rotate now, they're going to open themselves up to attacks from all of their surrounding teams. So they have to deal with that first. It looks like Odyssey is going to make the decision to move up in towards the zone, which is going to open things up at least a little bit. GODSENT, though, they still have to be careful. They're surrounded by a number of teams. Now, everyone trying to push in towards the zone is going to mean that we see a whole lot more fighting going to happen very, very soon.
Yeah, and we have the players here from Vibe as well as NiBBLE also now going at each other. This, of course, happening over on the southern side of the zone. And we see the team there from the outside is also making their move on in. Zero popping a quick shot in towards Yakes. Down goes Sleepy. Gunner, now the last hope for left. I don't think Yakes gonna make it this time. Let's see how this goes. NiBBLE also just holding up in their hut. You can see the eXiles off in the distance. We got the players there from Spaza Six now rushing right in. Chris gets taken down. We got Coco off in the distance. Deity leaning over to the side for some other obscene reason there. But there we go. Either way, he's moving in. We got Flacco also just lying in wait. Oh, GODSENT moves up. Takes down the team from NiBBLE. Wow, what a turn of events has it been. But the team here from Spaza, they're not done yet. Still moving in. Their numbers looking pretty good. And of course, Flacco is the last hopeful for the GODSENT team. So let's see how long he'll be able to hold on with so many players in the surrounding area. Oh, pops a nice one into Deity. And we've also seen the solo players actually doing quite a considerable amount of damage. as you can see it unfold right there. Pops the hits in. Wow. Just look at that kill feed though.
Oh man. Yeah, it is going absolutely crazy. And now we're watching Six God and Flacco sandwiched in between a couple of other players, Coco and Smitty being those players. And there goes Six God, so he's going to be taken out. It's just Flacco remaining to try and hold the fort down. And like you said, we've seen those solo players do a lot of work, but is that going to be enough right now? You can see the fight's going absolutely nuts. 4KT trying to hold their own in that zone as the outsiders are slowly pushing up. eXile's taking a bit of a fight with Odyssey and trying to separate themselves from that and get in towards the zone. Odyssey, of course, going to be putting some hits in towards Cheddar, who does go out. So it's just MG who did manage to get out of that fight and in towards the zone, who survived. Odyssey looking quite strong. Flacco now pushing up to try and take the fight. Can he find those hits? He's going to find quite a number of them sliding down the hill to try and save his life. He has to take so many fights to try and secure that victory, juicing himself back up with the HP. But it needs to be a whole lot more than that. He's going to have to find so many more shots successfully here. It's going to be very difficult, of course. Deity going to try and stop him, but there come the shots. Flacco just absolutely landing them in laser beam style. Now the outsiders moving in towards that zone. Smitty also pushing on up. So we have 6 teams remaining. All of these players just moving about inside this absolutely minuscule zone. These fights are going nuts.
Yeah, no, it is definitely heating up a lot. You can see the outsiders now getting focused on as so many shots start flying over towards their direction. We got Smitty now just battling it out with the blue zone. So he's facing his own demons as he's trying to out-heal the blue zone, which we've seen numerous times before, is not something that a lot of people can accomplish. It is quite challenging. And of course now Odyssey right here on the edge. We got Juicy and MG doing a little bit of a dance around the structures here. The outsiders positioning themselves not too badly, but of course not ideally either. They need to make that push up into zone. But 4KT, the team coming in with the numbers right in towards the zone. 3 players remaining for them, and of course 8 players in total. As you can see the spread here, down goes Smitty. The outsiders popping that head straight across. We got Juicy, MG, we got Storm, we got Thugger, we got Self, Pronto, and Sheki. Those are the players that we have left in this match. 7 of them, 4 teams collectively. So let's see how they're going to play this one. And of course, the team here from 4KT sitting in a pretty good position. They have zone all the way across. And the outsiders, Odyssey, and the eXiles still need to make that move on in.
Yeah, this is definitely a difficult situation to be in. I mean, as you can see, there is very little cover, but there's some dots all across the board. There's rocks, there's cars, there's trees. They have to just keep themselves hidden. But MG, Juicy, they're going to get caught out in that blue zone. It's not going to be easy for them to maneuver at this stage. 4KT, they have absolute control right now. And with MG moving up, it might just be Storm who takes him out. And there come the shots. MG not long for the zone. Juicy going to find himself in a bad spot too. And so is Pronto. And actually, this might just be an easy guaranteed 4KT victory here.
Yeah, I mean, Pronto now the last hope for left. The only person standing between it, and down he goes. The blue zone just swoops in and takes out their competition. 4KT getting a super easy chicken right off the bat there. So 5 kills to the name of 4KT. The outsiders, of course, coming in second place with 10 kills. Wow. Odyssey finishing in 3rd place with 6. We got the eXiles with 6 in 4th place. Vibe with 2 in 5th. We got the players from GODSENT finishing in 6th place with 5. Spaza finishing in 7th with 6. The Dragons, of course, with 1 in 8th place. We got the players from Mars finishing off in 9th. We got NiBBLE in 10th place. Revolution finishing in 11th with 1. The players from EFX finishing off in 12th place with a surprising 7 kills. Well, all right, that wasn't expected. And then, of course, the gun team there with 2 kills in 13th, and of course the team from Ekasi getting sent back to the lobby first in 14th place. So that was quite the turn of events there. And I mean, 7 kills in 12th place. That's quite interesting. It's almost like they killed, you know, that the whole team killed the 2 previous teams that got sent into the lobby. So yeah, pretty interesting plays that we got there. A little bit easier on the zone for this round. Not so crazy there, but still some interesting rotations that we saw coming in from the teams. And of course, the plays, I mean, that finish though. I mean, the players just hanging around in that blue zone a little bit too long. And of course, it does what we know it does. You know, yeah, just wipes out players.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what the blue zone does. It just takes players out with no mercy. And we've seen that in the last two games. Hopefully, as we head over into the last match, which will be Erangel, things tend to calm down a little bit more. We'll see less blue zone kills, hopefully, and a little bit more action from the get-go, which is what we're waiting for. Of course, Miramar, it's just a big map. You have to wait quite a bit before things really kick off in earnest. But at least it's been quite interesting. The fights have been pretty good, and we've been seeing some decent performance coming out from a variety of teams. And interestingly enough, that EFX placing like all the way down towards like the one of the bottom positions, but picking up 7 kills, which we don't see often. But I mean, it's still pretty good to see.
Yep, no, 100%. And of course, speaking about seeing, we'll see you guys right after the break. We're heading on over towards the 4th game, so we bring you back momentarily, so don't go anywhere.
Some days there's no one else who loves me like you used to. Some days I'm not myself. There's no one I can turn to. All the feelings that we shared are in the past. Your relationships are never meant to last. All the feelings that we shared are in the past. Your relationships are never meant to last. It might take some time, but I'll be alright. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Moving on.
Won't you take me to that place? Take me to that place. Won't you take me to that place? Won't you take me to that place? Won't you take me there, man? Because you said enough, you said enough, you said enough. Because you said enough, you said enough.
Oh no, that is what they all say when they see me pouring some oil. Oh, then gets empty again. Better fill it up before I go. Cause I'm loving it, feeling it, touch me and being it. See what I see in it, I'm typical. Messing around with it, mix it up, go with it, fuck with it, flow with it, let it all go. Oh Lord, think you know what I'm like, but you don't fall, you lose control. Bittersweet melody when I dance on your fly. Cause I know what you don't. It is me you adore.
Ride so hard, I forgot what I should have thought of before. Sure ain't easy for you to let go of the rules, cause that's so much fun. Are you loving the feeling? It touch me, are you in it? Don't see what you're seeing, but typical. Messing around with it, mix it up, go with it, fuck with it, flow with it, please let it go. Oh, no, think I did it again. I said a few things that I shouldn't have done. Well, bittersweet melody when I dance on your fly, cause I know what you don't. It is me
and I'm up through the night. I can't turn down the noise, tear all the worries out of my mind. About who I'm supposed to be, I start to believe I can't get it right. Remember the days I let slip away, they were simpler times. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Maybe my compass was wrong, and I'm still on my way closer each day to where I belong. I'm still rolling the dice, praying sometimes don't last it long. I'm losing my faith, I'm walking away from what you knew all along. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. All right, so we are getting ready for our fourth and final match of the night. Of course, heading straight back over towards Erangel. Right, so everything is getting started and loading and whatnot. And well, Patchy, hopefully we're going to see a lot more action coming in on this one. You know, the teams have had 3 matches to warm up and get accustomed to everything. And of course, you know, we're heading straight back into Erangel, so it is a little bit of a change up once more. But I think they are pretty set and ready to roll with the punches on this next match.
Yeah, I'd certainly say so. We've had our warm-up round in Erangel. We've done our 2 Miramar matches, so I'm sure these teams are feeling pretty comfortable where they're sitting. There's nothing else to do. They should be rearing to go. And of course, I think everyone's ready to end the night off as well. Let's do it with a bang. Let's see what these teams have to offer. No more long-range engagements in terms of gigantic-sized maps. We've got a good old Miramar up away. We've got Erangel. Good to go.
Yeah.
We're going to see some nice drops. Hopefully, we see that action from start to finish. And yeah, I'm keen to see who comes out on top, because like I mentioned right in the beginning, this is actually an interesting way to see these teams clashing up against one another, you know, because these teams, we see them up against one another across you know, various different seasons and tournaments and whatnot, and it's very interesting to see how they interact. And this is a stage where we have them on together in a lobby once again and see how they perform, and it's been very interesting. They've had some very interesting zones thrown at them, and now finally we get to end things off on Erangel with a pretty decent flight path heading off towards the east.
Yeah, starting over in that Sosnovka Patchy Point area and making its way up over towards Stolba. So yeah, I'm curious to see whether or not any of the teams will be getting themselves some of those non-redeemable points. Well, it seems like one of the teams actually jumping out right there, that of course being the team from Spaza. So this flight path is, you know, once again opening up quite a few places where the teams like to frequent, but of course cutting off quite a bit of that western to northwestern side of the zone there. So yeah, I'm waiting to see how these teams take the zone, where they drop, and of course then, you know, we wait for the big surprise, which would be that zone.
Yeah, well, we'll have a look and see where these teams end up dropping into, because of course all of that plot on the western side of the map is going to be relatively inaccessible unless the teams decide to really go for it and stretch their way on out there and then take a bit of a hike in there, which of course is definitely not off the cards. We've seen it happen before, but usually depending on where the zone lands, you know, we have to see the teams rein it in just a little bit, make sure their positioning is good, because if you end up extending a little bit too far out, then your rotations are going to always be late, or at least later than your opponents, and that makes it difficult getting into the zone if you're not quick enough. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if anyone decides to go all the way up. And then actually, this is very interesting. So the flight path went towards the east, but the zone is all the way in the west. So actually, taking the hike now is not only something that they could do, it's something they have to do, absolutely, because that zone is basically completely on the opposite side of where most of the teams are standing.
Yeah, that's quite a mix-up that we see coming in here. And well, again, no surprise, you know, as we've seen many curveballs being thrown over towards these teams. So what I'm hoping to see is, you know, the teams getting those rotations done well in advance, moving into position, because, you know, we've got this wide open piece of zone right here, and well, we only have a few teams that are slowly but surely encroaching into that region.
Yeah, certainly are moving up in there. They're going to have to move up quickly. I think if I was in this lobby, it'd be a very difficult decision to make here. And I think for the teams, it'll be the same, because, you know, do you set up where you drop, get yourself ready, or do you make the rotation as quickly as possible? You know, you just grab what you see and then run as fast as possible, because I mean, the majority of the zone is unoccupied right now, but that's not going to be the case the whole way through. You know, eventually the teams are going to start making their way in, and you can already see a number of teams have pushed through in towards that zone, and they're still relatively towards the outside, which means that once these teams start moving in, they might just find themselves in a bit of a difficult situation. They're going to be moving past a number of different teams, so the shots are going to be flying, and they're really going to have to pick their positions really, really carefully. Otherwise, we might see a whole lot of teams go out a lot earlier than expected.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you on that. So let's see how this goes and where the teams choose to roll. And well, yeah, I don't think there's any potential just yet with the current positioning of the teams for any early game engagements per se. But of course, you know, that can change at a moment's notice. So we're just keeping a watchful eye, trying to see, you know, where the teams are choosing to rotate up. We've got the team, of course, there from EFX up in Severny. We've got the Dragons rotating up in towards their usual spot, which is usually South George. And of course, now we see the team from Ekasi spread out in the surrounding area there of Gatka. We got the team from NiBBLE and now moving up from that Sosnovka military island. Coco actually moving in right behind Mr. Jagger here. So we might see a few plays or moves coming in from there, of course, depending on how aggressively the team here from Spaza decides to move. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, that red zone coming in right over top the players there from the outsiders, and of course Vibe. So, well, we might have one or two little interesting surprises coming in from the zone side itself.
Yeah, well, I mean, we already have had quite an interesting with this flight path combo, and it seems like this game is intent on doing some very interesting things today. We've seen some interesting zone movements, and yeah, like you said, there's some very interesting potential for that zone to move up, because if it does head towards more of the western side, then a lot of that water is going to remain in play, which definitely decreases the amount of available land. Which sometimes can be a problem going forward. You know, it does make things a little bit more tight, a little bit more difficult to move around in. So, yeah, that could definitely happen. In the meantime, of course, that red zone coming into play going to be dropping right on top of Vibe, and the outsiders sitting up there in Rozhok and School. They will survive it for the time being, of course. But, yeah, we've got a couple of teams in that general area as well. So, yeah, we'll just wait for the teams to start moving in, because the majority of teams are going to be either coming in from the east or from that military base. And, well, that means there's some decent potential for gatekeeping.
Yeah, no, 100%. So we'll see what it is that they choose to do. We got Mr. Jagger, of course. I don't know what he's getting up to. He's all the way off onto the side. But one thing that's quite interesting to be looking at is, you know, our standings so far. We've got the team from Gun. They're currently sitting right there in pole position with 45 kills, 79 points. We, of course, have Slime 4KT sitting in second place with 71 points and 32 kills. Vibrant then in third with 67 points. And then, of course, we've got the players from the eXiles with 51. And in fifth place, we've got the team there from GODSENT with 39 points. So, quite an interesting mix with the points there. Ooh, but speaking of points, hits are taking place. Here we go. Oh, nice. Chris just forced off of that bridge. So the players here from NiBBLE actually putting in the hurt there, forcing them to make a very quick decision. Are they going to stay and fight, or are they going to try and move in? Now, these points, of course, being quite crucial for the NiBBLE team here, seeing that they're currently sitting in 13th position with only 9 points. But, well, 19 points. Oh, but so far it seems like they're actually stepping it up.
Yeah, well, True steps on top of the car and he gets a whole bunch of bullets just put right into him. He goes down and now everyone's crawling around on the bridge. It's quite an interesting sight to behold indeed. But the thirsts will be coming through in the NiBBLE squad. A little bit pressurized here, but it seems like the Spaza Six crew gonna be sent packing, not by just getting sent back to the lobby, but it seems like their concrete shoes have been filled and they're gonna head all the way to the bottom of the river, true style. And now it's just Chris who is the remaining player, and well, he's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, no, he definitely has. Well, let's see how this goes. Sorry, I'm just laughing at the chat. People, Patchy was complaining that no one was saying anything about him, and finally, Patchy.
Actually, to be fair, I said that no one was like you know, hyping me up, but they were hyping you up, and I was like, no, it feels bad, man.
Yeah,
but it's fine, you know. I'll take the hair comments; those work too.
Yeah, can we get some love for Patchy in the chat there, please? Well, we've got enough people to give you some love. I mean,
I'm no charity case.
We've got enough people watching to give you some love. So let's see, of course, now, speaking of love, how this one is going to unfold for Mr. Chris over here. We got NiBBLE now just pushing across right over onto this side of the bridge. And right next to them, over towards that northwesterly side, we've got Gun, our current pole position team. So this might be quite interesting.
I love your segues, man. They're so good. Yeah, truly.
Yeah, you can call me Mr. Segway.
They're really my favorite. Yeah. All right, that'll be your name from now on. We'll call you Mr. Segway. All right, well, moving on. And in a segue of my own, we're going to be having a look and seeing where these teams will be at the moment. Roz looking pretty packed right now. We've got Mars just towards the outside. Outsiders actually sitting inside of Rozhok, and Vibe just below that towards School. We have, of course, the eXile sitting in Pachinki, so they can potentially contest some of the teams who rotate around in that area. And we still have quite a number of teams sitting towards that bridge as well, looking to stop anybody from coming along. And, well, the Not Gaming squad is going to be that very team. Chris going to be trying to move up the coast, and it's not going to be very easy. And the Gun squad also sitting relatively close as well.
Yep, no, they've really turned up the heat onto the Not Gaming team, and well, as you can see, they're now getting ready to rotate on up out of there. Ooh, they might even go do a little bit of fishing there, but Mr. Chris, of course, you know, he camouflages in right with this rock. They look one and the same. Just look at that. That is what you call camouflage. Not really. But anyway, we got some shots now.
I just realized I was looking at the wrong map for like 3 seconds. That was cool.
That's funny. All right, so let's jump over to the Dragons.
It has been a long day.
They're putting those hits into the Odyssey team, and Juicy gets taken down right as we arrive. So Odyssey losing one of their players there. They got 3 more in the bag. Let's see which way around they're going to try and rotate. All right, so it seems like they might be moving on further towards the team here from Vibe. So it could be actually, it could actually turn out to be quite interesting. You know, we've got several teams starting to gather on this mountain. Well, in close proximity to the mountain, rather. Let me just correct myself there, because we only got one team on. EFX might, you know, go on or up,
Yeah.
or whichever way you want to call it. But yeah, so they might move into there, and of course, Gun. Ooh, now getting hit with a red zone. Chris still hiding behind his rock there. Well, he can't stay there forever. He's got about 1 minute and 50 seconds left until he needs to part ways with that rock, make his way on up in towards the zone. And of course, the Dragons now being one of the teams joining the players here from Odyssey up on the hill.
Yeah, this hill is always a point of contention. Like, if it's inside the zone, you're most likely going to see at least one team try and get to this spot, just because it's such a good spot to fight from in terms of having that overwatch. It's very, very strong. You've got a seriously powerful angle that you can leverage against the entire surrounding area. You can net yourself some good kills, and you can minimize the amount of exposure that you actually put yourself in, and you take a minimum amount of hits, if any at all. So it's definitely a very powerful and well-contested spot. But the thing about it is, generally that ends up meaning that we have 3 or so teams fighting along the top of the mountain, which is also quite interesting to watch. So we'll see if that happens. Of course, Odyssey taking up pole position right on top of that mountain at the moment. The Dragons, as you mentioned, just hovering around in that area as well, but not really committing to get to the top, because of course Odyssey will be fighting to maintain their position up there. But we've got a number of teams surrounding that mountain, so there's potential for some good shots to come through from Odyssey.
Well, let's see if they'll be able to continue those shots. Ooh, a lot of developments happening right here. Let's jump over here to EFX. You can see them now just taking that engagement with the Dragons. Ooh, the Mars team also off somewhere on the map, popping off a few hits, getting hit. Hit after hit after hit. Sounds like a record label or whatever, but here we go. We got Vibe and the players here, of course, from Mars. So they've actually come quite a long way, all the way over here. I mean, going up against team from Vibe now. Let's see, will Vibe or Mars be able to get those shots going?
Well, we'll see momentarily, because Vibe has definitely got their crosshairs straight in that direction there. The shots come straight through, just not stopping, putting those hits in, and making sure those knocks come through as well. So Vibe is definitely making sure to spot out any of their opponents to take them down. EFX, of course, doing a little bit of work as well. They're in between a number of teams, the Dragons, Ekasi, as well as Odyssey up on that mountain. And of course, Mars going to have to make sure they play carefully around this one. Vibe is not letting them push up for free. So, yeah, let's see how that one pans out.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely see how it pans out. And it's interesting to see, you know, we've got these 2 concentrations of the teams. Of course, this first one being here with our players from Mars. And Vibe is battling out. Ooh, there we go. Sorry, popping a quick hit into Mr. Yakes. So Sleepy now moving up to get that res going. We got Gunner now just trying to provide, you know, some cover, if any at all. Let's see whether or not they'll be able to pull this one out of the bag. We got Lixon, sorry, Iron Man, and of course Mr. Faker.
Yeah, Faker.
Yeah, Faker, Mr. Faker over here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a whole voice note on this one.
Yes. Which I'm not gonna play right now, but it's fine. Well, actually could, but whatever, doesn't matter.
It's a secret move that we'll hold in the toolbox for later.
Yes, for one day, once upon a time. But the shots are still flying up though between Vibe and the Martians here. Let's see whether or not they'll be able to wrap this fight up, because we got that shot going straight up into Lixon. And of course now Sorry saying sorry moves in and gets the res going. But Yakes and Sleepy, they back up and at it. So let's see who will be able to get it. Vibe not having any kills just yet, and of course the Martians here, they have a grand total of 1 kill, so at least they're leading by that 1. So let's see, will they be able to get any more, and will the Vibe team be the one to give them those kills?
Well, we are about to find out. Mars is split up somewhat. We've got Iron Man, Lixon, and Sorry on the one side, and we've got Faker on the other side trying to battle against the Vibe team. Now, Vibe, they're getting hit just a little bit. Mars are able to put on some pressure. They are trying to move up into the compound. If they can isolate Gunner, they might be able to take out the rest of the team, especially considering Sleepy has hit the deck. The res has come through, but he's low on HP, so the time for assault would be now. If they can make it happen, this could be the opportunity that Mars could take to win this fight.
Yeah, but it's interesting to see now that the Mars is turning their attention over towards the team there from Odyssey up on the hill. You know, I would really think that they'd be trying to move in on Vibe here, because
yeah,
I mean, they do have the number advantage.
That would be...
So they could quite comfortably move in, get the hit, you know, and move on out.
I mean, as soon as they got that knock, it should have been good to go.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, well, at least now they're putting the hits in. Mr. Gunny here taking a few shots. So let's see. Maybe they might step it up and start moving in. Well, we got Lixon and company still holding on at the edge. We got Mr. Faker closing in slowly but surely. And of course, Revolution also moving in. So they can't take too long, because, you know, the zone is shifted up. The teams are moving. And they might very well get surrounded by a few other teams. So they might have quite a few problems then.
Yeah, they certainly might. The teams are definitely moving in now. And I mean, we still have 50 players and 14 teams left, which means that there's just a ton of players that are going to be moving into this area very, very quickly. So not wrapping this fight up might just become a bit of a problem for Mars, because now they've got a whole lot more to worry about, and this could potentially be the end.
Yeah, Mr. Faker just lying in the grass here, waiting for EFX to move on in, but EFX pushing in over towards the team here from Vibe. So they're not wasting any time. They get the gap there. They just move in, and they get themselves sent into the lobby. So beautiful defense coming in there from Vibe. I mean, so that's maybe one of the reasons why Mars is a little bit hesitant. You know, they don't want to necessarily rotate up too quickly, but now would be the opportune moment to do exactly that. Seeing that Vibe has taken quite a bit of damage. I mean, Odyssey picking off a few shots from all the way up on that hill. You can see their vehicle also just off in the distance, slowly but surely burning out. And the team here from NiBBLE now trying to move in. Odyssey just picking off more shots. So we were talking about that vantage point that, you know, that nice overwatch that the Mountain actually provides to the teams. And we can see that in action. The vehicle getting blown up there by Sidon. Ooh, we got Nas blowing himself up. What?
Ooh, that is a rest in peace right there. Just absolutely sends himself straight back to the lobby very decisively. And now that blue zone is, of course, moving on up, and it has shifted once again in down towards the sort of middle, maybe down towards the southwest a little bit. But the team's now fighting it out. Odyssey putting some hits into the NiBBLE squad. Sorry puts them into Yakes. He goes down, and the shots coming through immediately. Some nice decisive kills going forward. Odyssey also taking quite a bit of damage there. Mars going to be rotating off quickly. They did not pick their moment at all, and instead they're just going to move in towards the zone. They don't want to take that fight against Vibe, and maybe they have a good reason for it. Vibe has been pretty good at repelling the attacks so far. So Mars will save themselves to fight another zone.
Yeah, definitely they will. And of course, now the players here moving in. We've got Gun pushing up on, well, GODSENT here. Shady, the one in a little bit of danger. As Gun now just comes rushing in. Oh, down he goes. Nerf moving up, being super relentless. And of course, the remainder of GODSENT just sitting over towards that southeastern side, as you can, or southwest, sorry. Let's see. Are they going to try and move in? For some other reason, they've decided to camp it out in a little hut. 25 seconds before the blue zone starts moving in.
Ah, yes. The big brain strats.
But we got several shots now coming in, and we got a wolf banging at the door, just trying to break it down. Cheddar, of course, now popping a quick shot over towards the players here from Ekasi, and several more hits actually are going all over the place. Let's jump over to Ekasi, see what is cooking on their side. Frieza now right here with Hunter, trying to get that res going. Cheddar now getting the hit in on Jasmine. So everything now riding on Frieza. Will he be able to get this res in on time? Because, I mean, the eXiles, Cheddar especially, has just been putting these hits in all over the place. Hunter now dropping down back behind the bale there. Will Frieza try and get another one? No, but he needs to move back over towards Hunter. Now Cheddar moving up relentlessly. He is in destruction mode. He just moves up and puts shots in all directions. And he might very well be able to get this squad wipe going.
Yeah, I mean, he's just on the hunt right now. He doesn't care. He's just moving up. He's sending the Grens in, and he's just pushing straight on up into the team, trying to find those thirsts, and actually going to find them. And he's just going to look for a whole lot more. Finally, he goes down eventually. They put those shots into him, and now his team has to come to the rescue because all he has is this hay bale between him and total destruction. But they're pushing up very quickly. Cheddar might not be long for this world, and he is, and he gets taken back into that lobby as the rest of the team's now pushing on up in towards that zone in the middle. The Mars team taking some shots towards the Dragons, and Vibe putting those hits across. The rest of the team's well spread out. They're going to have to move up in towards the zone, which is only 400 meters across at present, and those shots still flying on up. You can see the eXiles putting them in towards Ekasi. And, well, those shots are definitely not going to stop. We still have 11 teams and 30 players need to move on into this 400-meter across zone. Things are about to get even more spicy.
I mean, the Dragons now caught in a very tough spot. We got Mars on the one side, we got Vibe on the other. Both teams focusing all their attention right over towards them. Six now also blowing himself up.
Well, that's
something strange is cooking in the GODSENT house today. But either way, we've got the players there from Vibe now just getting taken out by the Dragons. Sela and company stepping up and just doing the work. Sends them all packing. And of course, Mr. Flacco now still alive. Just camping it out.
Yeah, he's chilling his side.
Yeah, well,
he's just chilling here.
No urgency to rotate just yet. It's fine.
Yeah, you know, when you find yourself a nice house out in the wilderness, no one's bothering you. You know, just chill.
Yeah.
You know, no problems.
As one does, you know.
Whip out a grenade, maybe stick it in the microwave. You know, it's all good.
Yeah, you know, nothing crazy. It all makes sense, you know. So let's see how it goes. I mean, the Martians now busy moving around, and Gun actually starting to pop their heads in. I think they just took out the eXiles. Let's have a gander.
Well, almost. It's close. The eXiles are still there.
Oh, okay. So there's just so many players just backed into this little piece here. Couldn't even see the players because, well, you can see the eXiles now just off in the distance there. MG and company. We got Nukes knocked out. We got Nerf, Pyro, Slim, and Broly just holding their position here. And, well, the blue zone claiming Mr. Flacco there. Down he goes. And, of course, the Martians battling it out with the Dragons. You can see them off in the distance getting taken out. Well played, Martians. There we go. Squad wipe for them. All right, so 6 teams remaining, 21 players still alive. Let's see who will get themselves that lovely chicken.
Yeah, we're going to wait to see, and we're not going to have to wait that long because the zone is only 200 meters across right now. The eXiles right above Gun, the Outsiders off towards the east of that position. The Mars team all the way up in towards the north of the team, right to the side as well, just off to the east. Revolution going to be then 4KT off to that side. And now the shots coming in between Gun and eXiles. Hits coming straight on in, and Gun looking to just absolutely dominate that position, and that's exactly what they're going to be doing. The eXiles just getting taken straight on out there. Not going to be long for the rest of that one. Now we have 5 teams remaining, and Mars moving up towards Revolution to take that fight. They're going to see who is going to win that one. 4KT is going to be chiming in as well, so we've got a little bit of a bullet sandwich going on, and there come the shots straight on through. Mars going to be putting them in relentlessly. Revolution just getting assaulted from all sides right now. No chance. It's Kato, the last one left in that blue zone, not going to be kind to him at all, so he's going to move up as quickly as possible, leaving the rest of his teammates behind. And now as everyone moves into the zone, things are going to heat up that much more. These 4 teams are going to fight it out to see who's going to take that chicken. And here come the shots once again.
Yeah, we are seeing an absolute slaughter just happening all over the place. Oh, down goes the outsiders. 4KT sending them off. We have 3 teams remaining. We got 1 player from Mars. We got 3 players from 4KT. And then, of course, 1 player left for Gun. So Mr. Nerf going up against the rest and, well, doing quite a bit of damage there to the Martians all by his lonesome. The team sitting on 9 kills. Oh, finds the hit on Sorry. So now it is Nerf up against 4KT. So Gun already on 10 kills. Nerf having 7 of the 10. Pretty great performance across the board here. You can see him now just frantically scanning the region, trying to see if he can identify any of the players as they are all trying to make it their way in. It is a bit of a tricky position to be in, but fortunately he's got this tree, so he can actually take them on a 1v1.
Oh, man. No ways. There's no ways.
No.
I was going to say that this should be easy for 4KT, but I mean, this is Nerf. I mean, we've seen him do some crazy things, and now he's making this look doable, and I'm almost convinced. I mean, look at this damage that he's managed to put down so far. This might actually be doable for Nerf.
Oh, 1 more. Come on.
Oh.
This is going to be so close. Just finishes the thirst.
There's no ways.
Let's see, will he be able to clutch it all the way? Fantastic performance coming in from Nerf. Now he's going up against the 2 remaining players. They pops the hit in. Now it is Fex.
Oh.
Will Nerf be able to find that last hit? And he does!
Oh, he's so low on HP.
What?
No ways.
Holy...
What a clutch. 1v3.
But look at the kills.
And 10 kills for Nerf. Holy moly. Absolute machine. Legendary performance to come out for Gun there to bring them into that chicken dinner spot. Wow.
What a comeback that is, though, from Gun. I mean, from what we've seen in the past, you know, they've been having a little bit of a tough time, but man, they are just stepping it up. They're already in pole position, and now they just seal the deal with a chicken and 13 kills, and Nerf just one-manning it all the way and coming in with that beautiful clutch right there at the end. And of course, well played to the team there from 4KT, of course, managing to get themselves 8 kills in 2nd place. We got the Martians there from Mars, obviously in 3rd place with the 7 kills. We got the Outsiders with 2 kills in 4th place. We got Revolution with 2 kills in 5th place. The Exiles getting 4 kills in 6th. We got the Dragons, of course, with 4 kills in 7th place. Not Gaming with 3 kills in 8th place. We got GODSENT in 9th place. We got Ekasi finishing in 10th with 1 kill. We got Vibe there with 3 kills in 11th. We got Odyssey with 4 kills in 12th place. And of course, Spaza in 13th place. And EFX finishing off in 14th as well. So, yeah, there we go. There we have it. I mean, that was a... Wow, that was an insane play coming in by Mr. Nerf right there on the end. I mean, I legit thought when he got in that vehicle and rotated across, I thought he was going to get taken down right there. I thought, you know, we're going to see the team there from 4KT take those shots, just pop them off and send him packing. But somehow, miraculously, he managed to make it all the way in, sneak up behind them, and just punish them for allowing him to do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was nuts. I was even gonna take. I was gonna take a risky, well, a quote unquote risky cost angle. I was gonna be like, maybe Gun can 1v3 this. Maybe Nerf can make it happen. I was gonna be like, oh, we've seen some great performances from him in the past. Maybe he can do it. And before I even got a chance to say that, man just jumps into the car after putting in a really good set of hits, goes straight onto the top and just goes on to just 1v3 the rest of the players there and win that one out. So yeah, and a really great way to end things off. Wow, what a nice bang to end off today's matches on. Yeah, absolutely. Here's a nice round of applause for that performance. That's what I want to see more of. I want to see a whole lot more of that. Bring us some more of that action. And of course, if you want to see it, same time, same place next week, you're going to catch the rest or the next installment of the Pro Series. And I think with all that said and done, that's it from me.
Yeah, no, 100%. All right, so we're going to cut it right here. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and turn on the notifications as well. And yeah, we'll be back on next week, Wednesday, for some more Pro Series action. Right, so with that, peace out and have a good evening.